co-op mode.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
There we
Quite.
go. We're back. We're live, and I killed it just as the song ended. So timing.
Good
Nice.
job.
Ooh. All right.
What
So
was the song?
what's that?
Oh, I was asking what was the song?
Action news at 180 beats per minute. It's one of my royalty-free musics that I
Yeah.
can put in the
Mozart.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mozart on electrical guitar.
let's go ahead and do our game recap real quick so we can get into game. So who took notes last time?
That was me. So it was season 4, episode 9, marketing and merchandising, and it was 2 days later. Let's see here. So Red Arsenal and Lightbringer flew to the Haven Institute to attend the first class's graduation there. Pulsar was looking for a job, and Hyperion offered him one at Quantum Unlimited. After talking back and forth about his origins, about Compass, Pulsar's powers and stuff, Hyperion made a bank account for him, put $10,000 in it, so he's got some money, and he's going to go become a power consultant at Quantum Unlimited now. Xenofreeze was experimenting with genetic samples to see how tough they were and found out that Dexamite DNA is especially resistant to hard radiation, and then he was testing his own genetic nanites within him. Red Arsenal got Dragonfly, a card, and a simple gift for her graduation. It was a good ceremony, and Ms. McCall was surprised but appreciative that Red Arsenal and Lightbringer came by. And then she let Lightbringer know that Pound Cake is related to Lightbringer through her mother's side. So Lightbringer talked to Pound Cake a little bit and the other second-class members who are about to start, and they're already really big fans of hers. Surprise, surprise. Lightbringer and Red Arsenal then met Viper. There's another kid at the Institute. He apparently hates Mantle, but who doesn't? Mantle's kind of a jerk. Let's see. And as per normal, Red Arsenal made Viper uncomfortable. That's what he does. Then Shone posted a bunch of Electrum fan mail up on the wall for inspiration because she's been looking through Daddy's letters. And then Pulsar is getting a transmission, which was showing him a star map. And after gathering everybody together and trying to look through that stuff, and Hyperion making a little device to try to pick up that thing, that frequency, seems like it's a faster than light frequency, and it's a distress signal that came from Proxima Centauri. But we don't have any further details, and it looks like it was broadcast in all directions. But his suit and his power was able to pick that up a little bit. But then we had the idea of going to the black site to try to use its Dexamite transceiver to actually get all the information from the transmission. So we gathered everybody. Shone went and got the 2 from the Haven Institute, brought them back, and we took Ixion's vessel to the black site. But there were dudes, namely U.S. government official types, surrounding the entrance. So Lightbringer cloaked the ship. Hyperion sent a copy to talk to a captain there. The captain was stalwart, and he's like, you don't have security clearance to be there or get any info. So Hyperion dissipated that copy, let everybody know, and then the attempt was to call Senator Miles Barrett to see if he could help us get clearance to re-enter the black site.
And that is the game recap. So we're picking right up. We're picking up right after that, actually. So maybe an hour at this point. Helios would patch through a call, and Senator Barrett actually does return the call. He does indicate that there are things that he cannot discuss over the phone. So if you are available, you may want to come to him at his ranch home that is out in Maryland.
Okay. Does he give us the actual address, or can we find that easily enough?
Yeah, he gives you the address.
The coordinates. Are we going air shown or are we going air Ixion?
Finding him is the first challenge.
Yeah, let's fly there since Shone has never gotten there, and it'll probably only take us like 20 minutes in like Ixion's spaceship. So we'll fly there.
So alien craft descending down in the rural areas of Maryland. Are we thinking masquerade here, or are we just saying, let's go with it?
We can be, hopefully we're cloaked.
Well, if
Xenofreeze does not have a cloak, but
Right.
it is something that Lightbringer can use.
does.
Yes.
exactly, yeah, Lightbringer was keeping it cloaked as we were approaching the other place. So
Okay,
if she
so
can
just
keep
continue that.
up,
Sure.
yeah, we'll just do that.
So Lightbringer, why don't you give me an endurance check?
Why does one part of me like
Just
out of
need a
character-
green result.
Why does one part of me just out of character like just fly in, lights blinking?
Yeah, make a huge show of it.
Yeah.
Bum,
Take us
bum,
to your
bum,
leader.
bum.
Like the ship from Flight of the Navigator.
Oh, great. Yes. So Pee Wee Herman in a silvery ship.
That's a white feet.
Aw. Right.
Oh,
Okay.
I have white feet.
No rerolls.
That is problematic. That means partway through.
Should I re-roll it? I have one re-roll.
It means partway through the flight, you are straining quite a bit because you actually haven't had to keep up illusions this long.
If
Okay.
Hyperion notices that, as far as that goes, then we try to fly through any cloud cover that there happens to be to kind of limit the amount of strain she has to put on cloaking us.
So you can go ahead and re-roll then for the rest of the flight. However, you're down a column shift to do so.
Oh, who's taking notes?
And that is
tonight?
rolled against your psyche.
Oh, I am.
Okay.
So, roll my psyche instead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, your psyche is what you use to project that stuff with. Your power rank is how good it
Okay.
is, and if you're doing it over long periods of time, endurance is what you use to keep it up.
Okay. Green feet.
Okay.
Also, I'm taking notes, so I gotta remember it. Actually, write
Noted.
something down.
Yeah.
You know what else would be good if I got my character sheet out?
Oh,
I'm
everyone-
ready!
Character sheet. Though.
Keep that to yourself.
He's all like quietly unfolding a character sheet and setting it down next to him. It's like, oh,
Oh, the decadence.
real paper. And it was printed with authentic toner.
Oh.
Why is that always so hard to remember?
Toner?
The character sheet.
No, the character sheet.
Oh.
Yeah. But with that little snafu out of the way, you are able to refocus. But by the time you are coming into land, Lightbringer, you are nursing a headache. Not
Okay.
obviously something you can't get past. It's not like a migraine or anything, but that was a strain. So that may be something you want to work on in the danger room or whatever have you whenever you have a chance.
Okay.
So you land obviously somewhere in one of the fields that he has. The animals, however, since animals tend to have a little bit higher senses than we humans, mere humans, they are instinctively start like moving out of the way. As
Yeah, I know. Cows are very sensitive to alien ships.
yes, they are actually.
Yeah.
That's why we get probed and they don't.
From experience.
They,
Yeah. They just get dissected out in the fields.
or tipped.
Or tipped.
Just and then the ship flies
Yeah.
away.
I didn't bring any change though.
You should be tipping in bills.
But
We're
as you touch down, obviously several Secret Service agents come like running out to the field with their, weapons drawn, and, another guy's like trying to flag it down. So there's not like an incident.
Unbreaded!
Yes, there we go. Unbreaded. This game is particularly unbreaded. We've had it played 3 times now. So touchdown on paper.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Unbreaded.
It's like Beetlejuice.
Wow.
When you say it 3 times, it becomes real or something.
I think I'm lost. What does unbreaded mean?
Oh, we need to show him the clip.
Well, anytime Jerome says touchdown, then I feel like that's the next thing that has to happen.
I'll show you the clip after the game. Essentially what it was this teacher
Just
or a
way
lecturer
too
out
much.
in California. I think he was working with USC Riverside or something like that. I don't remember where. But he snapped. Oh, I mean, he wasn't really all there to begin with, but he would make these really weird ranting videos, some of which were horribly, horribly offensive and racist. But this particular one was almost just that. It was him going off saying, touchdown on paper, unbreaded. Right. Touchdown on paper, unbreaded.
Yeah.
And that was almost the whole gist of the
It
whole
doesn't
video.
make any sense.
And he was progressively making himself angrier as he went, like he was pontificating something legit, but that's what he was saying. It's so, and then he like got the very end. He's all touchdown on paper, unbreaded, die, and then the clip ended.
That's it, yeah.
Well, at least he knew how to
Wow.
finish.
Yeah, he ended on a high note, I guess.
Okay. I thought it had something to do with gas and mozzarella sticks or something, but okay.
No, nothing
Wait,
with
even weirder than I
any
thought.
level of sophistication. Nope. So
Sweet.
So, but yeah, the ranch. They have. He has a couple horses here. Otherwise, it's just a, kind of an open field here and there. Kind of playing through it as quickly as possible, I guess. And sound may need to be turned down in the background. I thought I just heard some. May have been my voice or somebody else's. So,
I just went on the Twitch stream, so I apologize, but I turned it right down.
okay,
So
no problem. So they once Secret Service obviously has confirmed that you are supposed to be here, they escort you from the field inside the ranch house. And this is a nice, it's one story, but it's one story, but it's kind of big. It's got a nice pool. It has obviously some some cabana style shade in the back. It's clear he entertains here either for family and or possibly political guests. The senator dressed much more casually since he's not currently in the office. He's just got like a polo and some slacks on right now. And he invites the group inside, opening the sliding glass door. And of course, and out of your periphery, you can see that, this is setting off his security detail. Like they just don't like it. It doesn't matter. And it's really alarming, to have you guys here, but they're doing their best to keep everything locked down. And with that, he looks specifically to Hyperion, and he extends his hand. And he says, I apologize for the shortness of the call, but obviously with what it was that you were attempting to address, that's not something we can have discussed over radio frequencies, for national security purposes.
He extends his hand and shakes his, and he's like, understandable, Senator. So, with that said, what is it that you needed to tell us?
And he says, well, you're obviously aware of the official United States stance right now in regards to everything that happened overseas. What you are unaware of is the fact that there are still quite a few politicians who are upset at how that took place, and your particular group are looking like state actors for New Prussia. So there
I
is
see.
a growing yet quiet concern that you do not have national interests at heart where the United States are concerned. And the fact that you just found some sort of alien facility in our backyard and didn't immediately notify the United States is concerning. It's politics. I do apologize, but I wasn't the one responsible or involved. I'm just the messenger in this particular case.
I understand. Of course, no fault to you. But the fact of the matter is, whatever we can do to get access to that base, we need to do it as soon as we can. There is a signal that we're receiving, and technology within that site would allow us to actually decode the entire message to know what's happening. And we believe that it is very important.
So this is
Is
more of
there
an
any way-
extraterrestrial issue then?
That's correct.
Okay.
And Senator, if I may, yes, we 100% seek to have the United States as a defendable position and keep our interests in line with the United States. And dare I say, with one exception, the world itself. The world itself in its entity, in its entirety, is a higher priority than any, frankly, trivial interests that the United States may have. I hope you understand that. It is not malicious
Well,
in comparison.
let's just say it's good that you said that here and not around others.
Yes, I do understand that. And I feel that we have a relationship that allows me to say that. Me saying that, though, I hope that you could potentially, in certain instances, maybe not this one, but in other certain instances, keep that in mind and perhaps try to sway others to look at the bigger picture.
Well, that's something I'm not going to be able to do. That's not within my capability of doing so. And to be perfectly honest, that's what the United Nations is here for, not the United States. We have to look after our own interests because if we don't, no one else will. So
That is true.
whatever your interests in this particular site, which I'll be honest, I don't have a whole lot of information on. It's not something that I was briefed in, given the fact that I'm a senator and not a member of their cabinet or on some sort of defense committee. But what I can say, from what I've been told, is you still do have friends within the United States. There are still some within the government who consider you allies and do understand the things that you have done have been for the betterment of all, not just something self-serving or as political actors to a foreign country on United States soil. So I think it would go a long way if you were more cooperative with your findings and giving of that information. I think it comes to no great surprise that there are definitely some that are acutely aware of the change in the dynamic potentially of the world. We have obviously the security concerns that are happening with Russia still. We have New Prussia as a country that has made quite a bit, or have made technological jumps by leaps and bounds, and the United States is quickly starting to fall behind. I think you can see where this is going.
Right. Sociopolitical destabilization and possible war if that stabilization doesn't happen, which means that the United States needs to catch up and feel that it isn't being threatened by New Prussia or extraterrestrials or anything that might seem superior.
Regardless of how you feel about New Prussia, the United States, especially through NATO and the United Nations, have been seen as the unofficial protectors of this planet. We're often tasked with going abroad and with security forces, and should something happen where this alien tech winds up in the wrong hands, we could quickly see a change in the world power. At this point, some are projecting within months, and that is terrifying to not only key members of government in the United States, but also abroad with our allies. And never mind the fact that we still have that alien vessel orbiting the planet.
Correct. It would seem there are many plates spinning, as it were, but if we can at least take one of those plates away, that will, of course, regain some stabilization. Do you suggest that we do anything in particular beyond simply perhaps... Well, actually, we could assist the United States government with that black site. We have been inside it, and if they haven't actually gained access to it and are having trouble, we could explain and show them how to access it and provide them with certain information. If
I think that would go a long way to evening the playing field. Obviously, there are still other things that might need to happen, but that I think on a personal level would probably be a show of good faith.
What would you suggest be the best way of providing that information, seeing as how when we went to that site, we clearly did not have any access? Is there any word you can put out where we can make contact?
It's known that I've had contact with you before, so if I speak to certain members in the defense committee, they're going to understand that it's you attempting to go through proper channels.
Excellent. In your experience, do you think that providing them with that information and assistance would convince them to allow us to use that site for even just a few minutes regarding that distress signal we're receiving?
I think you could, but it would require oversight. You have to understand that this is, defense issues aside, this is the equivalent of putting everything that we understood on its head. So it would be like an archaeological dig that suddenly told us that not even Leif Erikson was the first to the American continent. It redefines everything we understand about our planetary culture, and the United States wants to be, from my understanding, the United States obviously wants to be at the forefront of that.
Of course.
Perhaps we could, and perhaps you could mediate or instigate a bit of a trade, or be the liaison that we can give some information to. My ship is obviously not made in Detroit by your local car dealerships.
I see you're picking up on the human idioms, so that I understand.
Yes, and there is a plethora of potential things that you can gain simply from that. I am not going to turn it over, but I would be willing to divulge some information that could potentially bring you up a little bit. I would have to discuss that with the rest of my team.
Once you could
Would
clearly
you- would you
define
be-
that, that gives me more room to work with. I
Do
can't
you
go
think we
to a
could-
table with a bunch of vague niceties. You're going to have to be specific with these people. That's just how they work.
I believe Hyperion and I and the rest of the team could come to a agreement. Do you think that? Do you agree, Hyperion?
I do. And of course, regarding your vessel, that is technically yours. If we can at least provide information regarding the site that they're trying to investigate, hopefully that will satiate their need for that information and garner goodwill.
Senator, have they gained access into the site that you know of?
Again, I'm not a part of the defense committee, so I can't say. That's not information I have access to. I'm only in the know because you raised the concern to me, and I have certain friends who have tipped me off as to what this is in regards to.
Excellent. Then it seems our next task is to return to the site and inform the individuals there that we can assist them with actually entering the site and showing them what it's all about. If you're able to provide word that we'll be arriving and be able to provide them assistance, Senator, then we'll get on to that right away.
I will. You'll want to slow your flight back down some to give me some time to run this up the appropriate channels to get the word to them in a manner that they're going to feel safe in conducting.
Will do. Then we'll wait for your call when you've actually accomplished that and they're ready to receive us.
Good. I will let you know as soon as I know something more.
Excellent. Thank you for your assistance, Senator. And he goes.
No, not at all. Thank you.
Shakes his hand.
Thank you all for everything that you've done so far. And he shakes your hand in return.
All right, team. We have our mission. Back to the vessel. Start heading back to the ship.
Wrong button. As soon as they get on the ship, Sean is going to voice her concern about divulging too much information about the signal that we were getting. Because if it is from their father, anyway, I'll just do it in character. I'm not comfortable giving them information about the signal right now.
We can at least provide them with information about the site itself, since that's primarily what they're trying to understand. And honestly, it would be difficult, I think, for most humans to even understand Dexamite language. I myself had to have it correctly downloaded.
I mean, he said that it would have to be oversighted. That means they're going to have their agents there, and they're going to want to know what it's saying. And I'm not comfortable letting them know that just yet.
And why is that?
It is possible for us to give them information without giving them all of the information.
True.
It does make sense that, I mean, their citizens have been abducted. They would want to know what has been going on U.S. property.
I don't have a problem assisting them with the black site. It's just, I do have a problem with them knowing what is out in space right now.
But we don't really even know what it is. All we know is that it's a distress beacon.
And I would prefer to find that out first before sharing it with them.
I mean, we'll have to find out what it is first before we even have to make that call. Because right now it's just an a image in my view right now that I don't want to turn off yet. But I mean, I think. I'm actually curious about this. Is why do you all live here in America anyway? Like, you guys seem like you have more ties to New Prussia. You guys could essentially live anywhere. Why do you choose to live here in America?
This is where I found them.
This is where I was born.
Yeah, me too.
This is where I landed.
And it is technically where I was created, but beyond our origins being here, of all the nations on Earth, it would seem that at the current time, the United States of America has the best hold on the geopolitical situation and socioeconomic situation of Earth. Of course, they're now in direct competition with New Prussia, and New Prussia does have some laws and cultural instances that we don't necessarily approve of. The pendulum of power is swung in the opposite direction, where the empowered individuals there don't exactly treat those without powers with respect. They're treated as direct second-class citizens. Not to say that something similar doesn't happen here, but for the United States, it's not a federal issue where something like that is mandated. That is a cultural issue that we need to actually work on. And to leave this country simply because it's difficult to interact with citizens who have those beliefs against empowered, that's against being a hero. We are here to help. And if we can make changes, all the better.
Sure. I didn't mean to, or at least I didn't intend any sort of slight by it. It's more, I mean, I've still really only just known you guys for a little bit, and I don't come from, I don't have necessarily the same look of the US that you guys seem to, at the very least. I mean, I've been here for a bit, but my stay wasn't exactly, I wasn't getting kisses on the forehead every night. But I was just curious, kind of like, why America seems to be your base of operations is all. But yeah, I understand.
And no slight taken. I'm simply trying to explain everything I can to make sure I answer your question. But
Yeah.
thank you for understanding.
I suppose that if they had been somewhere in Europe, that's where I would be as well. Because when I left my own realm, I was in search for my father, and it brought me here, and it brought me to them. And in order to continue that search, this is my best opportunity. And it's given me a family I didn't know I had. And as far as the United States, honestly, I don't trust any government. I have, throughout the history of the human race, any kind of societal government has always been corrupt.
Unfortunate.
And even in my own reality, there's corruption.
And though I alluded to it to the senator, to some degree, we didn't make a blatant threat because he would have taken it that way. But we are on the side of good. We are not on the side of the United States, which is a definitive line. But at the same time, it is a line that we would have to draw in certain situations. When it is coincidental that we're able to mesh with what the objectives are with the United States, I am fine with that, even if they do not mesh entirely. But if they were to clash, or heaven forbid, be anti-good in the future at any point in time, then I, for one, feel comfortable in saying that I would be anti-United States in that instance.
I would have to agree.
At least against the government.
really,
Anyway.
they are getting benefited by our presence here, not the other way around. There's no benefit to us.
I hear what you're both saying, but I'd like you both to temper how you feel with the situation on Earth as a whole. We've already discussed how governments are corrupt, and we see how that plays out in other third world nations when tyrants rule everything. And we see how it works in first world nations where everyone tries to live together, but still through difficulty, there is still corruption. With all that said, a balance needs to be achieved. Whenever all the power goes to one entity, that causes a shift in the balance of power. It causes enmity. It causes jealousy, anger amongst all the other nations who want but don't have, versus the one nation that seems to have everything. I think one of our main goals here is to walk this tightrope and make sure that we keep this balance as much as we can with regard to keeping New Prussia and American relations as stable as possible, which of course is going to mean that we help the United States advance their technology by leaps and bounds. At the same time, we should be working on releasing that technology around the world, a drip feed. That way, the balance of power shifts so that it's equalized everywhere. And perhaps culture can be equalized as well. If they see that empowered are providing everybody with a better quality of life through this technology, that might actually improve how everyone thinks of everyone else. I know that's a tall order, but we're not superheroes because the job is easy. It's because the job is hard.
Because we have the ability and the capability to shoulder those responsibilities.
Precisely.
I was drafted.
That is why I voiced what I told the senator. I am willing to give up some of this technology of, frankly, mine to the betterment of the United States, and as Hyperion has eloquently put, to the rest of the world, frankly.
Are they not benefiting from Quantum Unlimited?
To a degree, but we've only made a few materials and machines that cost a high price. It's still difficult to get that to the general populace so that it can be used by all. We do need to ramp up our efforts if we can.
Like the nanobite technology.
Correct.
That's the nature of new technologies in a capitalist society. At first, they're exclusive and expensive, and then as they're refined and um, manufactured and technology advances, it gets more common and cheaper, and regular people are eventually able to afford the same technology. So I think
That is
it's a matter
something
of
that
time
It's something I have
and
a hard time wrapping my
exposure.
head around as to why it has to be only elite.
Well, I mean, frankly, research takes time, and researchers have to live too, and materials cost money, and so it's in a lot of cases the wealthy that are able to help fund all the experimentation, um, the initial products, and then um, once that uh, technology and the science is available to more scientists, and more heads get in on the action, and then it spreads, and more resources come from other sources. So um, it's just economics.
true. It is an unfortunate weakness of capitalism as a whole that it will slow down that process. But we ourselves actually have a bit of capitalistic power. We have some of that leverage that we could use towards better ends to perhaps smooth out and increase the speed of that process.
Yeah, we do have a unique ability to speed up our own research, and we have more motivations than simply making money or getting accolades from the scientific community. So um, I like to think that our motives help us to um, think ahead more altruistically.
Red Arsenal, you've been quiet. Do you have no opinion?
I've been thinking.
Dangerous pastime, I know. Sorry.
um. So, what kind of information do we have to give, and what kind of information do we have that we don't want to give?
The current information that they're going to want is, of course, everything that they can get about the black site. We can show them exactly how to enter and exit it. We can explain that the walls are, in fact, made of Dravixium. They'll likely have some instrumentation that'll help them verify that. We can also show them the various computer systems. It will be difficult for them to try to access it. And admittedly, I'm not sure that I'd be able to successfully help them to do that. I would be the literal link for that information. But as long as we can provide them with what they want to the point where we can gain access to the transceiver for at least a few minutes, theoretically, that's all I would need in order to actually parse the information from the distress call and memorize all of its data.
I kind of think if they were to make it into the black site, considering the kind of trouble we had to go to get any useful information out of it, I kind of don't think they could do a whole lot unless they go through us. Well,
You might end up being the link.
mostly.
Yeah, I'm not willing to give you to them.
I
Well,
don't think they could really ruin anything or hurt themselves, except
They could look at the.
well, I guess
at
there are
the
a few
writing.
things they could hurt themselves with.
Yeah.
we need to make sure that they're aware not to do any sort of damage to the nuclear facility that's beneath. They would likely have great interest in that since it is far more advanced than current nuclear production technology. However, it does seem to use a mineral that may not exist on Earth or needs to be produced in a special way we don't know of yet. But that's information that we can provide them. It's information that will make sure that when they go through that facility, they'll be safe about it, as we were.
I was also thinking regarding the Dravixium that the site is made of. Obviously, we don't have the kind of tools that we would need in order to dismantle it or
Dismantle. I was thinking harvest, but yes,
Yeah,
dismantled. It would
get
be
it.
probably more accurate.
But maybe after we've gone to Senia, we can figure out how they refine it and how they tool it and bring that back. But also, I guess there are probably people in the US who are secretly engaged with what's happening in Senia, and maybe those people would already have the keys to be able to use the Dravixium there.
Then all the
So
more
maybe
reason
that's
to help.
something to watch out for.
All the more reason to help the United States gain full access before any other actors would.
True.
They're going to have trouble with the Dexamite language.
They will. As I mentioned, we'll be able to provide them with anything that we can. It's not a guarantee that they'll fully assimilate and understand the data immediately, but the more we cooperate, the more access they may provide us. That's the primary goal with this mission. The secondary objectives would be to simply help the United States government assimilate this information so it can begin to catch up with New Prussia.
I think
It's
that they
also
would
interesting. Oh, go ahead.
I should say, I think they would be capable of eventually breaking the code. I mean, look at what they've done as a human race. Look at how they've deciphered ancient language. I mean, we didn't leave a dictionary for our hieroglyphs, and yet they
That
figured
is
it out.
true. However, that was human beings deciphering language made by other human beings. This language is far more intricate and advanced. I do believe that they could eventually understand it, especially if they had any superpowered individuals with enhanced intellect to decode it and decipher it.
Are
But
you sure
it will
that the
take them time.
Egyptians created the language
Did
and the
Heliopolins actually
technology?
provide that?
We provided a lot of things and a lot of the technology that they are still trying to figure out.
Can we make a cipher of the Dexamite language?
I can attempt to. It would be complicated.
That
It would
take
make
some
more
time.
would make more sense if I made some sort of translation device for Dexamite alone, similar to the translation modules that New Prussia has for other Earth languages.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be something that I'll need to look into to see if that can be accomplished if need be.
Maybe we give them the cipher. They'd let us in. We walk out with what we want. They can stay with the cipher and decode as much as they want.
Hyperion, how long would it take for you to create a decipher?
So Jerome, we've just been talking about helping out the U.S. government officials there at the Black Site, and especially with the Dexamite language because it's so complicated. Could Hyperion make like a module similar to like the New Prussia translator things, but it's just for Dexamite, so that human beings could use that to understand Dexamite language?
You absolutely can, and you already have a working module to work with, and you can thank Lightbringer for that.
Right.
Yay, Lightbringer!
How long do I think?
Oh, the language translator?
Yep.
Yeah. How long do I think it would take for me to like upload that data and program it within that module?
Given the fact that you have ready access at this point, because it's residing in your memory banks,
5,000 years.
maybe
Yes.
maybe 5 minutes. It would be like connecting a USB drive at this point, just boop,
Give or
boop.
take.
That is a big bargaining chip.
The only thing that you're going to have to do, obviously, with that translator that Lightbringer made, is you're going to have to take out the Tabaxian language, which it already came with, and probably like hand right on there, that it was for Dexamite. That way,
I think
that way they
I
know
think
what
it
it's for.
had room for like 6 languages.
Yeah, so it's going to need it all for Dexamite.
Because
So
it's that
maybe, like,
complicated.
Yeah, because it's just
10
it is a
maybe like
complicated
10
language.
minutes.
So we
After all is said and done, so a long time.
do we
So then-
Did we only make the one, or did we make more than one?
You only have the one right now.
Okay. Well, maybe we should make another one.
Maybe
then
we could stop back at the vein.
I agree.
It's on the way.
That would be
I was
that
going to
would be
say,
a
Or
bargaining
just
chip
ask
they would
Grandpa
not
for
be
another
able
copy.
to. This is true too.
They
I
they,
was gonna
they
say
would
that
definitely
easier.
have more than one, since they have an actual use for it right now.
So maybe Sean and Carmen should go see Grandpa real quick and meet you guys at the vein.
Who is your grandpa?
The president of
The
New
father
Prussia.
of her mother.
Right. Are you sure you want to go to New Prussia and ask them for a decoder device so we can give it to the U.S. government to help them decipher an alien language that a black site?
Well,
that we...
it's a device that I helped them develop.
Yeah. Well,
I think he'll give her one.
it's not so much. I'm more like it now that I am a bit more aware of the tightrope that we're walking between two different countries. Isn't it going to look weird if we have these ties to New Prussia and then you go to the president of New Prussia, ask him for a device that we're going to give to the military of the U.S. government in order to decode information and stuff from a prison site created by aliens on American soil? Like, don't you think that's going to stress things if he knows that?
I suppose that is true.
Is there a way for us to download the language that we have on it already? And then maybe reverse
engineer.
Engineer to make a new one to put the other languages back
You
on
certainly
it.
can. That's going to take some time, though. You've already got the person who made it, so I mean, there's that. It's just a matter of getting some parts and having Hyperion work some magic with his instant invention.
Yeah, we could just go back to the vein and I can map out the technology that we used to build it, and then Hyperion can make another one.
They said that they were going to take some time to go through channels to get us access anyway.
And we are waiting for his call. So I agree. Let's go en route to the vein so that we can produce another copy of the vocal translator, and then I can download Dexamite to one of them.
I think this is a good plan.
Excellent.
What a wonderful day!
Who said that? I blast him.
Yeah. A talking ape
there's a
just
hole
goes
in
flying. Whoa.
Oh.
Oh, Helios.
He's got to stop watching TV.
Is Helios our Urkel?
No,
Did
no.
I do that?
Did I do that?
Oh my gosh, can you imagine if he
Please,
started
please
oh my
don't
gosh.
teach him that. Do not give him any 90s sitcom TV.
Heidi Ho, Legion.
He can be
Or Legacy,
Mork.
sorry. Mork, oh god.
Let him watch
Alright.
Mork
You
and
enter the
Mindy.
vein. Nanu. Oh, goodness.
Okay, this is 100% turning into Fly the Navigator now.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Never mind the fact that Ixion's ship does look kind of like that.
All right.
Have you seen the
US.
picture of it, George?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
I think it may be in the Discord chat. If you look at it, you'll see some similarities.
How much does Ixion look like Pee Wee Herman?
Nothing, thankfully.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Okay. So just a little, okay. I can dream.
He can look like a Pee Wee Herman if you want to.
A gray one.
Yeah. Gray Herman.
I mean, that's the color of his suit anyway.
True.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's all-
You guys at that point go back to the vein. Lightbringer, give me a reason check just to accurately draw up the plans again.
I think this is the ship. It is.
Yellow.
You know what we need to do is we just need to like formulate and make a video game and then just say, here you go, military. Start playing.
You're going to give them
And
the
then
last Starfighter,
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
and then
and then they have to beat
once
it,
once-
to stop the Kodan Armada and open the black site. Great. Okay,
Yes.
exactly.
that'll go over well.
That is such an 80s movie idea. You're wandering through the woods and you just find an arcade cabinet plugged into the side of a
tree.
mountain.
No, just
Yeah.
plugged into
Yeah,
the
I
side of a
would
tree.
not trust that. I would 100% think that I was getting transported somewhere.
I would 100% play it.
I
Just
mean-
to see what happens.
Same. Yeah, same.
Same. It's a video game. I couldn't resist.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'd wait
am
for the
I-
person taking the quarters.
Right.
You're like, I've got about a
Hyperion?
50-50 chance. I'm either gonna save the galaxy or be probed.
Mm.
Yep.
I'll take
Worth
my
it.
chances.
Okay, so Lightbringer,
Some
with
of
your
those who haven't
with
had a
your
date for a while
role,
would take the probe.
Lightbringer, with your role, you are actually able to improve upon the size a little bit. So it's not quite as gainly as it was before. Because remember, before it looked, kind of like a flashlight size.
Like
Yeah.
an old cell phone versus like a new cell phone, or like a slightly newer cell phone.
Because remember, cell phones got smaller and then started getting bigger. So I would say probably late 2002 ish cell phone when they started
So
getting a
same
little bit
songs?
bigger.
Look like.
Okay.
The
You
first
got a
Galaxy.
Nokia?
So it's a little more streamlined.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, but it is, yes, 100%.
Nice.
And in place of like where there would be a normal antenna, you actually managed to build in like a microphone sort of thing. So,
You're welcome, America.
so
We should make that a
Hyperion,
shirt.
roll your hyper invention.
Okay. Can I use repair / tinkering talent to bump that up?
You certainly can, yes.
How much karma can we spend?
That's a good
All
point.
of it.
Hold on, let me see the chart.
Yeah, we
Another-
need this to pass.
Another patent for Quantum Unlimited.
That's right. Okay, so to get at least, like, if we wanted to be a yellow to work really well, spending 40 karma
Oh,
would
please.
guarantee
Go
that.
ahead.
Done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will do. SX plus 40.
Yeah, you
Yellow
got
feet.
a super
Okay.
red. Oh, did you add
So,
the plus 40 already? Okay.
Yep.
You're able to create this device. At this point, it's taking you about 5 hours to do so. But you put everything together. You have one translator, and with the available parts and metal and ore, well, not ore, but like, circuit boards and everything you put together, it's at an RM30 for material strength.
Got it.
So that means if you drop it, it's probably not going to break.
Nice.
If it gets hit by a rock, it probably won't break, but you want to check it. If it gets shot with a round, it's probably gonna take it. If it gets shot with a laser, it's probably kiss it goodbye.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was gonna say if it gets run over by a train on a train track.
The train might derail.
Oh,
We
it's
haven't
no, it's
invented-
Wow,
Nokia.
okay.
Oh.
Snap.
It's Nokia levels. Okay.
Nokia.
Oh,
So we
Yeah,
haven't invented
our-
otter boxes yet.
RM30, yeah, there you go. Not yet. RM30 is actually no joke when you consider it against much of actual technology. Like it's on the
Yeah.
level of, I think it's pretty, if not close to steel, it's right there.
so it's not going to
Gotcha.
crack when they drop it on the sidewalk.
Oh
if
no.
we design an otter
It'll
box,
crack
it's
the
now MN.
sidewalks.
If we design an otter box for it, it's now MN75.
You're strapping it to your wrist to block incoming blasts at this point. You're like, what are you doing? That's your translator. I know.
Well, I think if your translator gets hit with lasers, then you've got bigger problems than translating.
This is true.
Exactly.
This is true.
Or your translation was the problem.
But in that time, while you are making this device, you do end up hearing back. It's not something we have to play through a whole lot, but in order to basically, you have to give them a little bit more time because now they're going to be beefing up security on site because they know they're going to be getting access. They're also bringing in a team of scientists to monitor what it is you're doing, and they're making sure that you explain the steps and whatnot. But because you did this, you are able to get access to the black site again.
Okay.
You do have to kind of go walk them through. Basically, unless you're telling me otherwise, you're giving them kind of a rundown of what it is you encountered. Like these were cells. Here's where Cahokia Man was and what we found. Don't drink anything in here that you find. This is what these symbols look like. This is because that's the language. This is kind of what we think the layout was. Here's the command center, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you give them a working unit that allows them to translate. Speaking of, not only sort of being able to speak it, but also be able to identify it so it translates down to English. So, and of course, obviously, you warn them about the engine or the generator that's down here, and the energy levels and whatnot. So, oh yeah, what? And I know you guys are kind of cracking a joke a little bit in the chat, Brittany and whatnot, but yes, very much so. I mean, it's they've got temporary shelters set up nearby it. They've got tech teams going in and analyzing everything.
I want to meet this Agent Coulson that they've got.
Yeah,
Probably
he's
a
in
cool
Tahiti.
cat.
His,
Magical place.
yeah. His death and only his death will be vitally important at a time of Jerome's choosing.
Yep. It's a
That's
magic
true.
place. That was such an underrated show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, but you are able to receive the signal at this point. And decode that. Obviously, you have to let them know what it is you're doing and that you're just responding to the signal. And the signal, essentially, it's just a basic. It's repeating ultimately the same thing. It's a retrieval signal.
Retrieval, like what is it trying to retrieve?
Or is it like is it a request for retrieval?
It's the equivalent of when you would send a signal out, you're basically telling all units to return home.
So ET, go home.
Okay. Huh. All right.
All hands on deck. We need you back.
Right. Does it have any like timestamp on it? Like,
No.
was it literally sent recently? No.
No.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Is it a Dexamite signal?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was identified last game. It's being sent on a secured military channel. But once you receive it,
Yeah.
it stops.
Oh, okay.
Why did I suddenly start hearing it?
Interesting.
Because I've had
Good
I've
question.
had this. Yeah, I've had this suit for a bit. I don't know why I'm suddenly picking up on.
Do
you guys-
you know where the suit came from?
It's
Is it Dexamite technology itself?
as far as I know, no. It was gifted to me, but it's not just it's not like a suit I can like it's not an object in that way. It's like it's part of me, but
It's the
But
Guyver.
The fact is, we don't actually know the true origin of your suit because we're not sure of the nature of the origin of your powers regarding who your benefactor is, other than this compass liaison that you're able to communicate with. Do you know the name of the race that Compass is a part of or working with?
I can ask. Oh, hold on. Wait, did I have a prop? I don't remember. I'll call Compass.
Yeah, you had. I know you had something. You had a big little box-like thing.
Oh yeah, for like 19 or for the cell phones at the time.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go.
Compass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Greetings, Protector.
What is that actually, George?
Oh, it's a box for a Sonicare toothbrush.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Compass. So I've never thought to ask, but like, so who gave me this gift? Like, where are you from? I honestly never thought to question it that much. I'm so used to following orders.
I'm located in outer space,
Okay.
far from your current position.
Okay. Wait. You said you're located in. Okay. So you are an entity. You're not just you're not just an AI or a robot, like, or something. Just okay.
Negative. I am not an automated figure, as you are alluding to.
Oh, okay. I was not aware of that. So, is it okay for me to ask, like, who are you? Like, are you, because you're obviously not human, because you're, like you said, you live somewhere else. But what are you, if I can ask?
I am Compass, and I am an entity that resides within the outer space, far beyond your realm. As of this point, that is all I can tell you.
Okay.
Conscience.
Are you a god?
So I'm gonna smile at that.
Somewhere, the rest of the Ghostbusters are going.
Mm,
Whenever somebody asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Yeah.
And Compass replies, "That is an inappropriate reference,
Oh, I'm sorry.
bent towards savagery of your world. However, I may have been mistaken for one at one point in time."
Okay. So who do you represent? I know I'm here to deal with the recorders, and that currently seems to be dealt with. But yeah, I guess we can I can maybe call back another time just to ask you about other things. But I don't know, just kind of I don't know. I
Now
thought
is
you
not the
were
appropriate time, Protector.
okay. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Are you a Dexamite?
Uh, yeah. No, Compass wouldn't tell me a lot of stuff. I thought Compass was like a robot. No offense. It turns out Compass is an actual entity somewhere far away in outer space. But when
So
I
he's an alien.
when I asked what Compass was, they said it wasn't a good time for me to call them and ask them that, and also they said that all I needed to know was, and they gave me some very little, but I don't know.
So then Compass is not forthright with their identity nor their motives, it sounds like.
I asked them who they were, and they said they were Compass. So I guess this is what they do. But as far as where they are in space, what they want, yeah, I don't know.
I wish I still
see.
had access to my people's archives.
Be that as it may, it seems that we have the maximum amount of information we can get from this signal. It's simply telling all available units to return, which would seem to indicate that Proxima Centauri is some sort of hub or base where other Dixamite units would go. But in order for us to go there, we would need to make sure that the Devaxian issue has been handled.
Regarding the distress beacon, the coordinates to Proxima Centauri, is that where they're being recalled to? Because that's where we are, right? Is this a message recalling all Earth-bound Dexamite, like
To
to?
explain,
Yeah.
our star would be called Sol. Proxima Centauri is the name of the star that's approximately 4.2 light years from Earth. It's the closest star to our own solar system. That's the origination point of the signal, which would indicate that Proxima Centauri, whatever Dexamite base there, is recalling its units to Proxima Centauri.
Okay. I was wondering if I was thinking, well, what if it's like hey, everyone come to Earth?
Hmm. And I guess the Dexamites already know where their planet is, so it's not like they would need to leave directions on the signal.
It seems strange that this is coming through on a Dexamite channel when, as far as we know, there were no other remaining Dexamites in existence.
I really want to get to that site and find out if we can actually find
So
their planet.
how do we deal with the Tabaxian situation?
The Devaxians are in orbit, as far as we know, because of the Ubari on our planet. And the Ubari are on our planet because they are trying to use human technology and empowered to fight against the Devaxians. So it would seem that we actually need to apprehend the Ubari, or at least end that threat to the Devaxian satisfaction. That would be to our satisfaction as well, since the Ubari are currently enabling Russian forces to become more and more powerful and more of a threat to New Prussia. That needs to end before that becomes worse.
I think they are a threat to the world as well.
Does our senator friend know about the Tabaxians?
The vast majority of Earth is aware that there is a ship in orbit that did make the news. I believe many know that they're called the Devaxians, but information publicly is limited beyond that. We're more aware of the actual interaction between Devaxians, the Ubari, and what they've done in the past with regard to interstellar society. The rest of the world is mostly unaware.
Do we know? I'm very new to this. Is the Ubari and the Tavaxian? How do they feel about the Dexamites? Are they allies, enemies?
Apparently, the Dexamites made enemies of virtually everybody, which makes sense based on what we found within the Dexamite Black site. They seem to consider themselves so far superior to most other, even sentient races, even beings that had obvious cultures and civilizations. They simply dominated them, used them, experimented on them. It doesn't seem as if there was that much actual communication or teamwork between Dexamites and any other race. In fact, from what we've been told, especially from Collapsing Star, another individual we've met in the past, that according to history, once the Dexamite civilization collapsed and it seemed that they had been wiped out, there was much rejoicing throughout the galaxy, and they were able to pick up on the rest of Dexamite technology to enlighten themselves to form the civilization they currently have. So, in short, they would hate the Dexamites and consider them an enemy.
So it's a good thing that they don't know that we are half Dexamites.
Perhaps. At the same time, they were aware of Electrum. He did make his presence known, of course, throughout interstellar society, and he apparently was referred to as the last Dexamite. But because of his actions and his altruistic nature and what he was attempting to do, he was looked upon more favorably. Perhaps not as the other Dexamites, since a true Dexamite would have simply tried to dominate them rather than help them.
Wait, so you said he's the last Dexamite. Does that mean their race is gone?
From what we can tell, either it is entirely gone, or there are so few Dexamites in existence that they are effectively extinct. Their entire society collapsed some time ago, and we haven't heard of any other living Dexamites in existence. Nor does it seem like other interstellar races have any idea that there are other Dexamites.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm getting a brain blast. What if this is meant for us then? This distress signal. Maybe the reason, like, if my suit is the antenna, but it's coming for, it's a Dexamite signal. Maybe it's not for Pulsar. Maybe it's for me. Maybe it's for us. Because why else would there be a distress signal that just suddenly pops up out of nowhere?
That has been my thought this entire time. I'm curious to see if it's not our father calling us.
Yeah, I thought there might be like more Dexamites out there, but if he's the last one, or if he's the known to be the last one, then this message suddenly popping up seems like, well, who else could it have been? Unless I just suddenly picked up a weird frequency out of nowhere.
I don't think it's a coincidence.
Were you using your auto tuner radio?
Yeah, I was adjusting my rabbit ears, and that was because I was trying to get a good picture.
Just needed
Yeah.
foil.
Figures.
Yeah, just put some foil between them.
Yeah, I was putting my foil around the head like I do every time I watch TV, so that they can't beam ideas into my brain. And guess what? They got one in. It turned out to be.
You did it clockwise, didn't you? You got to do it counterclockwise. You see, that's how you stop it.
Oh, I have a digital clock, so I just went left to right.
It's a rookie mistake. You'll get it next time.
Okay, yeah, I was in a slave camp. It's cool. Don't worry about it. But yeah,
Ready.
So all of you Bari are in Russia.
The Ubari that we need to deal with are in Russia. As far as we're
The
aware, there are
ones that
three
we
of
know
them.
about.
So back into the frying pan we go. Okay.
It does seem we have to follow a specific order in order to handle this. But
Do
for
we-
the time being, we do need to cooperate with the United States and make sure that they have the information they request of this site. Beyond that, then we can start to tackle further issues. Either going directly to Russia, dealing with the Ubari, or perhaps even trying to go to Senia, because they clearly have a connection to the Ubari, the Russians. They are assisting them in some way. So Jerome, like we of course go ahead, and Hyperion goes ahead and like provides whatever info he can then regarding the site to the rest of the agents at the black site. Make sure that we're all kosher there. Do they ask for like any other assistance from us regarding the site?
Okay. So then to clarify here, what is the game plan going forward outside of what you just discussed? Are you guys attempting to go to Senia? Are you like game plan that? Are you attempting to go to Russia and game plan that? How are you wanting to do this?
I think we'll need to contact New Prussia first to see if they have any info, if they've like located any Ubari whatnots, because if they have a lead, we'll just go there. If not, then we'll get some info on Senia from people we know of and then go there.
Okay, cool. So then what we're going to do here is there's going to be a couple days time lapse as you are doing that. You end up getting a little bit more roped into the black site than you anticipated. So we'll say it's about 5 days total.
Because we have to let them in and out because they don't have a vehicle.
Initially,
to pass through the door.
that's part of it. But you also help game plan a way for them to recreate the plugin.
Okay.
Which is going to be necessary. Which, oddly enough, if you're able to develop some level of cybernetics, which isn't out of the range here. Oddly enough, it actually it works and adapts especially well to really any sentient race. There's something about the adapter that works also like a transceiver. So imagine like a USB plugin that also had some sort of programming built into it already that allowed it to read, from old school, like I don't want to say it's not BIOS, but like DOS, as well as older versions. Like it could deal with that and translate it over to new systems, so it wasn't it wasn't a problem.
Okay.
So it doesn't obviously help with language or whatnot, but mentally wise, it can adapt to most sentient races. for what you pick up, or what you can tell by helping them invent it. So if they create an appropriate cybernetic, or at least a deck that they might be able to connect their own computer to, they could then connect no problem. It
So,
just
like,
has to
we're
kind of
talking
act as a
like
bridge.
we're talking like jacking in,
Yep.
kind of like filtering through the mind. Okay, got it.
Yep. So once you get to it, that's a minor breakthrough for you, but that's something that comes up as you are helping them, get this figured out. Which the scientists there, because they're all science geeks, are just like they have no bias whatsoever. Everything is brand new to them, and they got
Like
to
in a
touch.
candy store.
Yeah, they got to touch everything at this point. It's just like, ooh, so they like no problems whatsoever. So long as you are forthcoming with helping them and getting everything up and running, they are like all for it. Because this is a new frontier for them, and they are just super excited.
Do we make any new best friends?
No.
Oh,
Agent Coulson, anyone?
He's still in Tahiti.
Dang it.
As far as the rest of you, I'm not too sure what it is that you guys are doing over this 5-day lapse. Presumably not much, just because you're waiting on Hyperion to figure out like what the game plan is and whatnot. I will say, on the second day into this particular time lapse, Helios alerts everybody to a message from Lightbringer.
Oh.
And it's like, hey guys, I'm paraphrasing, but basically it's like, hey guys, Lightbringer here. I got kind of roped into something. I'll be gone for several days. And if I'm not back, then please tell my grandfather. And obviously, I need you guys to know for security purposes.
Wow.
Okay.
that seems like a red flag.
That's spooky.
Uh,
What?
Does it? Can we like within
It-
like our can be like, does this seem normal, you guys?
Was it that hammerhead guy?
You mean Sledgehammer?
Sledgehammer.
Hammerhead guy. I'm all of a sudden picturing like a hammerhead shark or whatnot. I'm like, when did I ever run something like that?
Yesterday.
Well, he wasn't a hammerhead shark, but he was a shark.
Yeah, that's true.
Close enough.
Hyperion. Was there
Yes.
not locators on each of our communicators?
Affirmative.
Helios, can you locate Lightbringer's current position?
Negative. Lightbringer is currently outside of our solar system.
Oh! Okay,
How
well, at
in the
least
hell did she get off of the Earth?
How
well,
bad did you roll, Brittany?
Unfortunately, I didn't get your message, so I can't answer that.
Yeah.
Dang it.
well, at least it wasn't Sledgehammer.
Yeah, Helios says Lightbringer and Lightbringer went to the moon base to work on a secret project. Lightbringer and Lightbringer then met with Collapsing Star and had a conversation, which led to them leaving in the orbiting Tavaxian vessel.
And
So
she's
the
just not telling
Tavaxian,
us.
the Tavaxian vessel is no longer in orbit.
That is correct. It has been outside of our solar system for almost 3 days now.
Sweet, problem solved. Wait a minute.
I don't like that she
Well, cross that one off the list.
What did you do, Ray?
Yeah.
just popped in there.
The most innocent thing.
It's unfortunate she wasn't willing to divulge more information than that.
Could she be?
Helios, based on the... do you have any way of determining where the Tavaxian ship went? or what its trajectory was, at least.
There is some background noise, so there may want to mute. I think maybe Shelly's coming from you.
Sorry.
Yep, thank you. So Helio says, I am unclear and lack the appropriate star charts to support such a theory. I do believe, however, that Lightbringer forcibly boarded the Tabaxian vessel
Why does it keep saying?
Lightbringer and Lightbringer. Why do you
Why
keep
do you-
referring to her as double?
because there were two Lightbringers.
Oh.
Okay, so can we get in contact with the president of New Prussia, and see, because like hopefully they have security cameras on base. Maybe there were witnesses about what happened.
Affirmative. However, I was led to believe, because unfortunately I was eavesdropping, that there might be potentially a temporal issue.
Oh,
Met with a different Lightbringer from a different time period.
Affirmative.
So this is like Back to the Future like thing.
Days of Future Past.
I lack the appropriate reference. What is Back
The
to
mo-
the Future?
It would
It's
be
the
more likely
movie.
that a future Lightbringer came to interact with a past Lightbringer, and if she found a need to do that, it's extremely important.
Well, yes, I trust Lightbringer. I just wish that she was more forthcoming when she goes off on these side tangents, because every time she does that, we end up having to do a major cleanup party.
Well, it sounds like future Lightbringer hasn't learned that lesson. But at the very least, we like it. I'm assuming this is our new project. This is what we're going to be dealing with. We should get in contact with New Prussia and see what they can, well, actually, Helios, you said that you were eavesdropping. What eaves did you pick up?
I am hesitant to say. I am
Why?
familiar enough. I am familiar enough with the laws of temporal anomalies to know that should I surrender this information willingly, it might displace certain items or issues there and cause potential additional ripples. Might I direct you to the frayed thread theory?
Yes, please direct me to the frayed whatever theory.
So he pulls up. Basically, he pulls up a theory, which actually is not one that you guys realized, but that it's actually in addition to the dimensional theory
Butterfly
that you
effect?
guys have
Okay.
recently discovered. Basically, the temporally speaking, time operates much like a string, and it goes through each dimension. But as there are temporal anomalies, it begins to fray, and it operates kind of like on a vibration, making it harder to intersect potentially on a dimensional level as well. And the more
We're gonna get
and the more vibrational threads that break apart, that's where you start getting differences in time.
Are we going to be getting a visit from the time police?
Are there time police?
I am unfamiliar
I'm-
with an entity referred to as the time police.
No, this is Shelley. OC League. Are we gonna? Because I'm thinking of
Keep it in character.
Loki, the show Loki.
Right.
Oh, I was like, you guys have fought time police before?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I mean,
We just got to keep the string from fraying, so we can't learn anything.
I agree. Then, Helios, you are not allowed to relinquish that information to anyone for any reason. Do you understand?
Affirmative. Thank you for granting me that permission.
So
Can't
are we still
interfere
going
with the
to?
timeline.
Are we still going to deal with the Yubari then, or are we going to head to the Dexamite site?
I think Pulsar's idea of at least contacting New Prussia first is a good idea to see if there's any way we can pursue Lightbringer. But if not, this may be our opportunity now that the vaccines are gone to actually look for that distress beacon in Proxima Centauri.
Maybe that is why she came back. Was
Maybe.
to give us a window.
But why wouldn't she say something?
Because she didn't
Because
want
it
to
would alter the timeline.
Yep.
We need to take advantage of this. Helios, place a secure channel call to the government of New Prussia, please.
Of course, accessing.
Ring,
And then
ring,
you
Yeah.
know, it ends up coming through.
banana phone.
Greetings.
Hello, this is Hyperion of the Legacy, trying to reach anybody who has information that would be pertinent to Lightbringer. Would we also be able to have access, perhaps, to President Albrecht?
Hold one moment, please. Na 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 na.
Kenny G.
Universal hold music.
Yep.
Yeah.
Imagine the royalties on that song.
Well, I've always said that he was an alien, anyways.
Yep. Kenny G raking it in.
He could circular breathe. That's
and
amazing
then,
in its own right.
And then a voice comes on. Legacy, hello. This is Terrius, executive assistant. We've met several times. I work directly under President Albrecht. How can I help?
Terrius, we're trying to determine if there's any way that we can find Lightbringer. Are you aware of where she recently went?
I am aware of a top secret mission. I can't really give much detail outside of that, unfortunately. But we're still within the window of operation. So what I can say is if we, for some reason, get outside of that, we're probably going to be reaching out to you for assistance.
I see. Then it sounds as if you are fully aware of, or at least somewhat aware of, what's happening with Lightbringer, and we should not be interfering, I take it.
I am not fully aware, but this was a direct order from the president.
Ah, understood. Would there be any...
Put him on the phone.
Would there be any way that you can think of that we can determine where it is that she went? I understand that you're dealing with the top secret order, but we are also trying to determine what to do next. She is, after all, a major part of our team.
Of course, and I understand the familiar relationship with your particular group. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but they requested to be teleported aboard that ship.
I see. And they were granted that permission then from your government.
Once we determined that it was feasible, yes, we assisted them with that translocation.
Are you
Has
aware
there
of...
been
Go ahead.
Just real quick, has there been a development with the Yubari?
Oh, good. Something I can talk about. He says, I am authorized actually to talk about this. We have been trying to track them through our particular sources. After your actions at the facility, it looks like many of them are on the run within the country. I don't know if it's been some sort of a schism or what exactly has happened. Not many people are talking, but we have noted that several of them have fled. We believe that many of them are going into Siberia somewhere. They obviously lack the ability to pass for humans, so they're trying to find remote locations, I think, to hide.
Does it seem as if they are still in league with the Russian government, or are they on the run from them as well?
It's possible. We don't have full knowledge of what exactly is going on. My gut tells me some of them probably are, some of them may not. So perhaps a schism. I'm not too sure.
I wonder if it's possible. Exion, you have the name of the one who was assisting you?
Yes.
I'm gonna make
Somewhere.
him look at his notes.
Yeah.
I think his name was Ubaris.
We call him Ubi for
Lord
short.
Ubaris.
I thought it was Bob.
Oh, and then you
I don't know where I got that.
pet on him. Ubisoft.
Right.
It'd be really funny. It's like, my name is Daniel. Stop calling me that. You
Yeah.
insensitive.
Yeah. Yeah. What the heck, man? Gosh. I know I have it somewhere.
I have always been curious on locating that individual because he seemed to be very.
I am worried about him. He was a friend. He
was
helped
kind
me
to you. Yes.
when he did not need to be. I believe he is good at heart.
Well, be that as it may, the Ubari were still doing what they did. You would still have to atone for those crimes against us.
Some of them may not have had a choice. That does happen within species.
What do the Ubari look like? I don't think I've ever seen one.
Look like humanoid
Triceratops.
triceratops.
Oh, radical.
Very much so.
I just realized I should throw in more like 90s slang.
And I really want to pet one.
You want to pet one?
Yes, Shelly wants to pet one.
Oh, okay. I was like, when they find that demeaning.
For what it's worth, I did not write down his name. So
I didn't either, and I don't know
I
why.
don't know.
And I'm looking for my notepad, which I cannot find right now. I think
I can't help you with that one.
my blushing bride moved some of my stuff around.
And she was blushing while she did it?
Every time I sneeze, my cat tells me off.
Is it?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Can I take this opportunity to roll a power stunt?
Sure.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, that's what she would have done while you guys were doing all that stuff. Can I go ahead and roll as well?
Wait, again! Dang,
Well-
nabbit, can I use a reroll?
If you want, you could re-roll that. That's what it's there for.
You look
I've
so
been
annoyed.
working on this one power stunt for like a year and a half. Honestly, I kind of want to just ditch it and try something else.
I would like to spend some karma, please.
Red!
Oh,
She did it.
oh my gosh.
Okay.
Okay, here I go.
You gotta use an accent.
Oh,
Got a yellow feet. I need a. No, that's what I needed, right? A yellow feet?
I believe so.
You're the one who was tracking it.
Yep.
Yes, I need a yellow feet. Yes. So one more.
now I just need 3 greens. So I should be ready in another 6 weeks or months.
Year.
So, this is what we have in front of us then. Ubari on the run, some, if not all, headed to Siberia for reasons not entirely known. It seems that most, if not all of them, are on the outs with the government they were interacting with. Beyond that, the Devaxians are no longer present, but our sister and her apparent future counterpart are on a mission, which we shouldn't interfere with. And
So I think we should go see if our father is at the site.
it would seem that that's the primary
there a-
option we have available to us.
Was there a time frame given on that message?
Nope.
But it's a distress beacon, so you
Oh,
react to it
No, no.
ASAP.
On Lightbringer's message.
Oh,
I don't recall. You need to tell me.
Yes, there was.
Okay, so
That that
you're the
she
one
would
that
be
left
back
it, so
within
you
3
tell me.
days. I told you. You told me.
Wait, so we have 3 days to do what we're going to do and then go
She-
find.
She said that she should be back within 3 days.
okay.
Should we wait for those 3 days, or
Well, it's going to take us a little bit to get prepared to go into space, anyways. So yes.
oh,
It would be more beneficial if she was with us. We'd be at full strength. If she doesn't return in 3 days, that's then an issue we'll need to deal with directly. She would become the
I'm-
priority.
I'm kind of curious about the Ubari. Kind of want to track them down.
Oh, hurry. Oh, the Ubar.
What's your reasoning?
Just so we know what they're doing. To make sure that it's okay for us to leave. Because they're not off planet yet.
They aren't. And
I would
theoretically,
still
there
like
would be
to
nothing
know-
preventing them. It's strange
would
they
like-
usually haven't left.
Yes, I would like to know what they're up to.
isn't that
Because
Russia's plan?
we're not Russia. You want to call them and ask them?
Well, do you want to fly to Russia without asking them for permission,
No.
and just to snoop around Siberia? I think this is going to be the problem I think we're going to have with these political country things. Is we're going to have to play by the rules, or else we're just going to make enemies. And if we make enemies with them, they make enemies with our friends. So New Prussia and United States will pay for it if we go too far.
I wonder if the United States would be willing to take the Ubari in.
Into custody at the very least.
Into custody, but away from the Russians, which is safer for them. If what we're saying is true, that they're on the outs with the Russian government.
That
What
would
is-
likely be something the United States government would find valuable to take the Ubari away from their enemies.
Let's
Should
call
we-
the senator.
Yeah, let's let the senator know, because if they have the insider knowledge that the Ubari and the Russians are on the outs, maybe that's another chip in our corner of, hey, we have information.
And maybe we can do like a Black Ops. And I would like to find Ixion's friend as well.
Is Jerome, is Terrius still on the phone, or did we
Yeah,
disconnect
you
from
guys have been kind of like bantering back and forth, and he's just quietly
Okay.
been just waiting.
Then with that, then he's going to say, Terrius, thank you for waiting. You've
Oh,
probably
not a problem.
heard what we've been discussing so far. Do you think there'd be any way to... Actually, Helios, do you have the ability to locate the Ubari directly using the network?
Affirmative if I have a sample of their DNA.
Do I have a sample of Ubari DNA in
You
my ship?
absolutely do. Not the actual DNA, but like the protein breakdown.
Can I remotely send an upload to him from my ship?
Yeah.
Okay. Do that.
Okay. Okay, so I mean, at that point, Helios says, data received. I can now start scanning for Ubari within Russia.
Excellent. Please begin and let us know what you find.
Affirmative. Please allow up to 10 hours for the scan to be complete.
Understood. Right. Well, in the meantime, we have some time then. We have those 10 hours, at least. Everyone get rest. make sure that you're ready for whatever comes next once
Are we on-
Helios actually finishes the scan.
Weren't we on a phone call with the senator?
No, the secretary
Yeah.
of the president.
Oh, the
Yeah,
secretary. Oh, sorry.
she's going to
Oh, yeah.
point to the screen since he's still online with
Yeah.
us.
Terius, beyond that, is there any other information that you'd be able to relinquish to us? I know what you've done so far is a lot, but anything you could provide would be appreciated.
What are you looking for specifically?
Anything you happen to know about the Ubari, since it seems that the New Prussian forces gained some information, what with them apparently going to Siberia.
There's little that I can provide there. Unfortunately, we're given the attack that Russia had, they've obviously gone to great lengths to find and eliminate potential spies.
Noted.
So they think
So-
the Ubari was the responsible party for the attack.
No, I don't think that they believe that at all. I believe that
No.
that they believe that others tipped them off, namely us, to that location. And so those that we do have that are assets that we do have in play have gone to ground in order to not get discovered.
Okay. That makes sense.
Terius, thank you for your time and for your information. If there's anything else we think of or anything else you think of, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Of course, I do apologize that I was unable to assist more, but hopefully everything turns out for the better.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, boop, boop, hangs up.
And then that call. Now then, 10 hours to rest and prepare to see if Helios is able to find them. At that point, we'll see if we can contact Senator Barrett and perhaps arrange some sort of joint operation to find any remaining Ubari and provide them to the United States government to gain more of their favor, to show them we are, of course, on their side, and to help eliminate more of that threat here.
Okay.
I think that's a good plan.
So you are in the process of setting that up, as well as obviously other things that are in play right now. And you're waiting for the results to come back, and then eventually you end up getting a message through at this point. It's right now it's like late at night.
Okay.
We'll say it's probably like 2 a.m. the next morning or whatnot, wherever everybody is at respectively. Helios lets you know that he has regained contact with Lightbringer.
Yeah, I think my character would have stayed at the vein.
Okay.
During this time. So
Is
as soon
that
as
what
she hears
everybody
that, she's-
do, or would you have gone home? That was a
I'd
question to
probably-
everybody.
Yeah. Hyperion would have stayed at the vein.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, stayed at the vein.
Okay. And Ixion?
I'd be at the vein continuing to work on my ongoing experimentation.
Okay.
Trying to work with my nanotech, refining it, that sort of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah,
Sure.
as soon as she hears the message about Lightbringer, she would come running out of her old bunk.
Sure. So at this point, it is a set of coordinates that everyone is to meet at. Helios advises that government officials will be on site as well.
Which government officials?
The United States government.
So when he gives us the coordinates, what geographic area is that?
The landing is taking place in the middle of nowhere, Montana.
Okay. All right. We've
Shown
heard from our
to
sister.
Exion.
Hmm?
Exion, we need to get the ship ready.
The ship is ready. It is continually ready for potential interstellar travel.
Is Lightbringer always like this?
Yes.
So, sorry guys.
She's very
I
spontaneous.
don't want to be that guy.
Helios asks, which one?
It seems like
Oh,
no, it seems like because like what are we expecting when we go out there?
We're expecting to meet up with her at least. If a future self of hers came back to interfere with the timeline, she is a smart enough individual to only do that if it was absolutely necessary because of the danger involved in time travel. And she would be the
Exactly.
one likely to invent it because of her intelligence. Not even I fully understand how she would have been able to accomplish that.
And
But be
I
that as it
100%
may,
trust her.
she is a part of our team, and now that she's asked us to rendezvous with her, it's likely for a good reason. Does anyone here disagree?
No, we gotta go get her.
I don't disagree. I'm just like I don't know. This just see I don't know. It just sounds kind of fishy to me. But
It's understandable.
You'll get used to it.
It is
It's-
odd, but we need to be prepared.
okay, I'll leave you guys a full journal if I ever go missing
Appreciate it.
with all my details and the list of the things I would like to see if I see you guys again.
He's like, and make a movie like the Blair Witch Project for me.
Yeah.
Found footage.
Give you my last
Ouch.
will and testament. Tell
Yeah.
you
right.
who gets all my
I-
worldly goods.
I Pulsar of sound mind and one eyeball.
So as soon as I'm back in range, I will come onto the comms and say, "Hey guys,
The
I'm
moment
back."
you hit atmosphere, you're within range.
Okay. I'm so sorry. You are not gonna believe the stuff that just happened. I can't wait to tell you all about it.
Out of character. Boo-doo-doo. You have reached a number that has been disconnected and no longer in service.
Oh, no.
You are outside of your service area. Please hang up and
Or-
try again.
Or it'll be
you are in-
like a. It'll be like when you go on leave at work and like IT disconnects you from all of your
Yeah,
Yeah.
access.
right.
Mhm.
Like, dang.
Helios has to go and add me back to the user group.
Changing you from leave of absence.
Rude.
Lightbringer,
Anyway.
are you okay?
Yeah. I wasn't really ever in any danger, but I got some really interesting information.
All right. Then we'll
On
meet
a
you at
lot
the
of
coordinates
stuff.
that you sent.
you
We're
could have
on our
left us
way.
a note.
I'm so sorry. It was a very sudden thing, and I wasn't sure how much I would be able to share at the time. So
We're
I'll
getting
tell you
used
all
to
about
that.
Sorry.
We'll meet you at the designated rendezvous point.
Okay. See you soon.
Okay, so you fly off to meet at a location. So Lightbringer, as you are
Also, did I call this meeting?
Hmm?
Did I call this meeting?
So this wasn't really discussed, but this is one that has to happen because per your last conversation, per my last email, they're going to need to make that contact.
Okay.
And that's why the United States government's here.
I figured after our discussion for the last couple of hours, that we would have to run this through the government also.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you end up, your ship ends up touching down. Oh, you know what? I need to get that. You know what? I'll tell you what. You still have the picture, right, Brittany?
The picture. What picture?
Okay, you're drawing a blank, so I'll take care of it.
The picture of the thing, the super important thing you guys discussed.
You know
You
the
know,
thing.
The thing.
Yeah, I'll take care of it. Don't worry. So, as your ship ends up touching down, and
Unbreaded.
the door, yeah, unbreaded, and the door comes, the doors basically the doors drop down. You are obviously walking out first. You are flanked by 4 Praetorians and the ambassador, as well as the captain. And when you walk out, there are 7 people out there, frozen, like just looking on, like their eyes are really wide. The problem is they're wearing masks like they were from the old Planet of the Apes show. So you're touching down, and looks like everybody has become damn dirty apes. And like one of them had like a flag that said "Welcome home," and he just kind of drops it. It's like,
I what year is it?
and then one guy just kind of he just kind of looks, and there's this delay, and then he gives a guttural cry of concern and scream, much like from Galaxy Quest, just like, you know, this sort of thing. Like everybody kind of like jumps, and then the ambassador and captain kind of look to you for a second, and obviously you can actually speak to them. And so the captain leans in and he says, "I was unaware that your people were so simian."
They're trying to be funny. I don't know why they thought that this was an appropriate official first contact.
And they all go, and those people all go running off. Like they go to what appear to be just like regular, like there were 2 regular cars, like one was a van and one was like a station wagon or something, and they peel out and head for the hills.
Okay, so those weren't the government officials. Okay,
No.
all right. Okay,
How did they get access to this site?
It's a
in the middle
field.
of
Don't let them in here.
It's
in the
just
middle
the
of a
middle of
field.
nowhere sort of thing.
Yeah.
They must have saw your ship coming in, and they were like,
Oh,
"Oh, aliens!"
They Naruto ran.
Okay,
They can't stop all
I
of
don't
us.
I don't have the bandwidth to deal with this.
Yeah, it's-
right now.
Okay.
So
I thought-
I mean, obviously they're just waiting. The ambassador at this point has got, like official clothing and whatnot. The Praetorian guards probably were laughing, but were way too disciplined to let on, that they found this relatively humorous. As your ship begins to touch down, as you guys are coming in from Ixion's vessel, you can see lights on the road of something like driving the other way, like rapidly, like there's dirt and everything kicking up. And then you see a column of several vehicles coming up the other direction down this dirt road.
That's curious.
And as
looks
Ixion's vessel starts touching down, the captain kind of stiffens up a little bit, and he says, "Ah, that must be the Salanth we heard from several years ago. Is this yours?"
Yes,
So
this is my team.
barks, he barks basically at the others, and they stiffen up and prepare.
These are my siblings. However, I will warn you, Earth at large does not know our parentage. We are saving that information for the proper time. So please do not refer to us that way.
The captain, the ambassador doesn't really bat an eye, but the captain kind of looks at you like, that was crazy talk. Like, why would you say anything? But he goes with it. So as you are, flying up, So here is 4 of the guards look like this.
All the
the Praetorian
Praetorians look like this. Like
the
this.
Praetorian guards basically have armor and whatnot that looks very similar to that.
Wow.
And the vessel that they landed in,
Is that the picture you were hoping that I had?
yes,
Okay.
It's very heliotropic.
You could have just said what they look like.
and then the vessel
And
that
I-
has landed is right there.
Oh.
The vessel, however, is corvette size, so it dwarf or your ship dwarfs that corvette.
The Empire has come to Earth.
Okay.
My ship dwarfs this.
Or sorry, the other way around. Yours is really small by comparison.
Okay.
Oh,
This would be like pulling up in a purple neon next to a destroyer.
Yeah, like this is a capital class ship that they're using. It sounds
Yeah.
like.
so this is
Purple
this
neon.
is. I'm the Millennium Falcon, and that's one of the Star Destroyers.
Almost, yeah, pretty close.
And a purple
close.
neon is a perfectly acceptable economy vehicle for a person traveling.
Right. Right.
Just
And
like
a
Kias.
and a unit of measurement.
Oh, yeah.
Freedom fractures.
And I immediately know this to be a Tavaxian, the Tavaxian ship.
Yes, this is a Tavaxian vessel. Yes.
Oh boy.
And of course, as the column of vehicles pull up, they are obviously agents from the United States. And
Is our senator there?
as they come out, no, not him. It's somebody else that they've got standing in place for the president. Preferably like probably a random, Air Force colonel or somebody like that was, available for this particular task. And they've got like 20 additional, security, and all of them are just like blown away. I mean, this is first contact and then some. As they're looking at the ships and the people and whatnot, and you see Lightbringer standing there in the middle of all
I'm
of
gonna
them.
wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna fight the urge to run up and hug her.
We'll go ahead and approach
Aw,
at like
I will hug her too.
walking speed to Lightbringer. So hopefully she's introduced us to her friends, so we can approach.
So I will introduce you to. I was not given the name of the ambassador, so Jerome, what's his name?
For now, he's just the ambassador.
Okay. This is the ambassador, the Tavaxian ambassador, and Captain Draketh, who has been a very an excellent host for the past 3 days.
So, where's your counterpart?
And they clasp one arm across their chest and bow their head momentarily.
My honor guard
Mm-hmm.
has been sent home.
Understood.
Cryptic.
Understood.
And it needs to be. Captain Draketh, thank you for meeting all of
I
us
guess I
here.
Sorry, I should introduce the members of the team. So I'll do that quick.
So you're doing that with the hand wave?
I will. Okay, so
I just want to make sure
wanna
that's
play
what
it
you were
out.
doing. Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
fine. Sure. It's like team captain team.
So formal?
Finkel Einhorn Finkel.
This is Captain Drakoth, and here's the rest.
Right. Captain, thank you for meeting us here, and also thank you for making sure that our sister was okay with whatever you and your forces managed to accomplish.
So he looks with a little bit of alarm at that comment and then speaks obviously to Lightbringer because none of you understand what it is that they're saying. And he says, I was under the impression that this was a secret.
Did the government officials arrive also?
Oh yeah,
So they're like standing here.
They're pulling up. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna look to Hyperion and be like, actually, I'm gonna say on my comms, like subvocally, hey team, the Tavaxians know whose children we are. He's kind of a big deal to them, like a big deal.
In a positive sense, hopefully.
Like he's almost like a god to them.
I see.
And they scanned my DNA. They know that I am of his blood, and I've explained that the government doesn't know this about us. They think it's strange, but unless something happened to change that, I asked over the last 3 days while I was gone. I asked them to not mention it.
Understood. Do you think they will abide by that?
Yes, I don't think they understand, but yeah, just so you might want to. I mean, business as usual with the humans. So, however you want to handle that.
So while you're sub-vocalizing, the captain, with the, or colonel, I should say, approaches with the, with all of his people from the government. And
Is there anybody from that team that we know?
no.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and shake their hands. Also.
Okay. And they say, they look directly at the others and they say, welcome to Earth. I am Colonel so-and-so, from the United States government. And you are currently in the United States of America. And then he turns and looks to Lightbringer.
That is the I mentioned to you that Earth has many countries. This is the one that I am from. They have great global power, and I thought it appropriate to meet with them first.
So he nods and then he speaks directly to the colonel, but obviously you're going to translate.
So does the translator that I'm using, is it like
only works for you?
Something I put in my ear?
Basically.
Okay, so it's only working for me, and I'll have to. It's not something I could just like put on speakerphone or something.
Correct.
Okay.
So after a little bit of relaying through them and whatnot, you find out that because of what is happening, what they're going to do is they're going to bring another vehicle by. They're going to go to a nearby airbase. Let's see.
Are you saying the government's going to bring another vehicle by?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wasn't sure who.
So
not the Tavaxians.
Okay. I was like, they need another cruiser.
So vocally, she's going to ask. They're not going to want to dissect our friends, right?
Heavens, no. In essence, and I'll say this sub-vocally, in essence, due to some things that may or may not happen in the future, we found it prudent to contact the Tavaxians directly sooner than later. And one thing sort of led to another, and I met with their emperor.
Ooh.
And he would like to make an alliance with us / Earth against Tyrax, who they are well aware is active again. And in exchange, they would like us to stop the Yubari from creating a bioweapon against them. And that's what they believe is happening. They would like us to take care of that and get the governments of Earth to agree to this alliance.
So
I
basic
wasn't
fare
sure
for
this
the
is how we're
legacy.
doing.
So-
Yeah.
So basically, what happens is after you relay that, do some relaying back and forth. The Air Force or the members from the Air Force that are here, as well as the Army that are backing them up, they're going to take this back to Maelstrom Air Force Base in Montana, which is just outside of Great Falls, to where they can obviously conduct this under more secure circumstances somewhere, and they will actually take they'll take the 4 men, obviously, or the 4 Praetorian Guard, as well as the captain and the ambassador, and take them to the facility so that way he has people on guard, for the ambassador. But what the ambassador asks is specifically for one of your translators, because otherwise you're going to have to be there for the whole thing.
Do we have a way of replicating the data that we have with the Tabaxian language? Do we have that stored on a disk or something somewhere, so we could just pop it into the next
Well,
unit?
it doesn't quite work that way. Even if you did, you have to have the device in order to translate it. You can't just put it on a disk and then it work on another computer.
Do I understand any Tabaxian?
No.
Are they a species of plants?
No.
No.
Good question.
Okay, because I can talk to plants.
You can, yes.
Also, how
Because
short is their hair?
their race has a lot of history with my race too.
Huh.
So
I actually don't know what they. I mean, I saw the armor, so I don't know what they look like. So I was like, oh, maybe they're plants.
Can I see their head? Can I see their heads?
Yeah.
Do they all have hair?
All of them have very long hair.
Okay. I still have
some done in various styles. Like perhaps all the way braided, some partly braided, some shaved on one side and super long on the other. Coming down or whatnot. But yes, every one of them has extremely long hair.
Do they look like humanoid? Are we talking like Star Wars alien or Star Trek?
No, they're humanoid. Tavaxians are.
Go ahead. Read it.
I was gonna try and describe them, but
go ahead.
You could probably do it better.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got the notes right here. I've got alien notes.
Go for it.
So Tavaxians, they are a human-looking race but all with varying degrees of red skin and a lack of a nose, which doesn't hinder their ability to breathe or speak. 3 digits for their hands and 4 for their feet. Long hair of some kind is cultural, and it speaks to their station and longevity. And then the rest of it is They seem, they act. I would assume that we could see that they're not. They're kind of tribal in nature.
Okay.
The other information isn't something that you would glean from just looking at them.
Yeah.
So when you say like no-nos, are we talking like they have like this is just like flat plane? There's no
Mhm.
like hole in the face where the nostrils would go.
Nope, just
Okay.
flat. Yep.
Okay.
So if I were to give the ambassador or give the sergeant my translator, would I be able to go home and get another one, or like go to New Prussia and get another one?
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be me losing the ability to use Tabaxian on
only
another
temporarily. Yeah, until you got another one.
Okay. So I'll tell him that I'll give him mine, and I'll explain how to use it. And I will also recommend to him to bring them a variety of Earth dishes, meals. And I have it on good authority that they'll be especially interested in chicken. So
Okay, so they look, kind of confused, but you seem to be experts, so they're okay. The sergeant hands
And
it over to
then-
the colonel because he's the one that's going to need it.
Yeah. So I'll explain to the Tabaxians that I'm going to give him my translator, and that he'll take you to a more secure base, and we'll see them soon, presumably.
Okay, and they nod before, obviously, you leave. The captain ends up handing you a communicator.
I ask the before you do that, before you turn it over the translator, I say, ask the ambassador if he has any contact with our locale, if you will, of the galaxy, and does he know of any survivors of Zenri?
What do you mean, our locale?
My neck of
Contact
the
with our
woods,
locale.
if you
Oh,
will.
your locale. What I can tell you is it's general knowledge that Tyrax is the one that destroyed your planet.
I am well aware of that. I already know.
Okay.
I want to know if they
Couldn't
found
remember.
if they have heard any survivors.
I will ask the ambassador if he knows of any survivors from Zenri.
Then obviously before they go on, or they walk away and go with the United States government, the ambassador turns and looks at you and he says, well, as you are aware, we are not a part of the Galactic Union, so that information is sparse. What we are aware of is that the Gaxian, I believe it's hold on a second, I think it's the Confederacy. Hold on a second. I had that right. Haha. So the Gaxian Confederacy has taken over the only other planet in their system that remains. So they are currently without representation, presumably, in the Galactic Union.
They meaning the Sealand?
Correct.
Okay, I'll pass that along.
I make eye contact with him and thank you.
Just shrugs, and they all start following the humans at this point.
Okay.
Jetty.
Is this a good idea?
We should talk.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we need to stay within proximity of your new friends, or would heading back to the vein be more appropriate?
Jerome, would I have made any arrangements with the government, like about our presence there, or
You probably at this point you probably go back to the obviously you wouldn't be in the meeting per se since you've turned over your communicator, but the assumption is you're going to be nearby because you're the direct link to them at this point.
We can go in my ship.
True. That'll at
Okay.
least provide
Yeah.
isolation.
and if we can
And there's plenty of
go
room
get
inside to
another
sit down around the table and
communicator,
whatnot.
that would
So
be good.
So we get on Nexian's ship. So, Whitebringer, what do you have to tell us?
Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. But I had an unexpected visitor, and she told me that a number of things had gone very badly. Things that we still have time to work on. And by putting our heads together, we came up with a few ideas. Jerome, would I know how much I'm allowed? Like, can I just tell him about all the solutions that we came up with, or is that going to impact the temporal?
no, you can.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because remember, the idea at that point was to try to get it to a point in which you would tap everybody else to try and ultimately resolve the problems, which would have to mean
Okay.
you would have to kind of explain a little bit about what was going on and what led to this, that, and the other.
So it took two of your super brains to figure this out?
Well, she wanted to keep moving forward until she had some kind of a workable solution that she could take back with her as well. But there were enough things that were different between her experience and ours that I'm confident that we're not going to become that.
So is she from a different dimension, or is she from the future?
She is from approximately 50 years in the future, but down a different thread. Her timeline has become frayed, but ours is still pretty intact. So, but like she didn't know about Pulsar. She said that they had only recently discovered the black site, and I said, "Oh, we've already even been there. We know what's inside." They never followed up on the signal, and that had only just barely come. So there were some differences, but so that we can be sure to avoid some of the pitfalls that she's had to deal with, we needed to know what was coming. First of all,
So
if
she
we
was
do this-
from. She was essentially from our future, of a certain
yes,
A
series of
possible
events.
future.
right.
Yes.
So what we do is going to affect her.
I don't know.
Can we like? So what are we looking at? You know, we keep interrupting you before you can get to it. But like, what
Right.
is? Yeah.
Okay. First of all, Tyrax. It's bad. She said that she in her timeline they didn't have any issues getting Earth heroes to work together, but he came and he started immediately attacking main cities on Earth, and between that and the moon base, most of the urban centers were gone in about 5 days.
Oh, so she was
Uh,
able to make a moon base too. Or
yes,
she had a moon base. Okay.
they did have a moon base. Yes. Ultimately, they ended up being able to defeat him by the heroes being able to weaken him, and then some of the magic users like Black Mass and Victor Solus cast a spell, and they banished him to a desolate dimension. I thought maybe if that stomach dimension that we picked up the refugees from, that might be a good place to put him. So we'll just
Quantum
have
reality entity. Yes.
right. So we'll just have to put that on the back burner. So
Understood.
after Tyrax, she said that's where their real problems started. A few months after Tyrax came, they were hit with several meteors that apparently were carrying a plague that attacked all living creatures on Earth, both human, plant, and animal life. And I asked her about it. It basically turned them into zombies.
The Dexamite
Um,
plague.
Sounds extremely
and
similar. Yes.
yes, she was able to map out some of the uh, um,
Gino?
details of the chemical details of what they had learned, and it is definitely a derivative of the Dexavirus. So she and I put our heads together and came up with some ideas on how we can avoid the meteors, maybe some kind of like uh, an Earth orbit to bounce it away, or like portal it through the Earth or to somewhere else, or breaking up the meteor before it reaches orbit, or even we worked on some possible like an antivirus that would infect people but destroy the virus. So I have some of those plans that we can start looking at. Obviously, there are ethical issues, but in the meantime, she wanted to do some testing on the virus, but we didn't have the virus to test, and this is why we were working in the moon base in case we could try and come up with something we could space it as a failsafe. But at that point, we had the idea to contact Collapsing Star, and he came and talked to us about this virus. He said that he has actually encountered ships that were essentially ghost ships, where people were affected with this virus, and their reaction is basically to just destroy the whole ship. We also asked him about the thing that happens after the plague, which is, she said, a being came to Earth, and this is after most of the Earth's population has been destroyed. a being came to Earth and they just called him Death. And Lightbringer, so I will go ahead and show them an image of what this person looks like.
Okay.
He is a monstrous-looking humanoid that's pale and gaunt, with tattered clothing and black energy seeping behind it like a cape. So I asked him if he had was familiar with this person, and he said it sounds like it's very similar to a person he knows called or knows of called Abrax Khaldun, who is a Heliopolis precursor priest.
Ooh.
And I asked him a little bit about that, and he said, well, we've heard of precursor priests before, right? The precursors were this sort of archaic religion that's been outlawed. So,
They
but
worship the Dexamites as gods.
we talked about them with him before. Apparently, there are Heliopolis refugees kind of drifting around the galaxy, and because they're extra dimensional beings instead of extraterrestrial, they're kind of in a loophole in the galactic legal system. So there's nobody to take care of them. And he doesn't know what they're refugees from, some kind of war. But he said they're estimated to be 1,000 to 5,000 of them, just drifting, basically from one place to another. But the Galactic Union can't be bothered to handle such a small issue while they're tied up in all the other wars they're worrying about. So,
And this is going to be in the future
this is
for
now.
my people.
This is
So
happening.
this is happening now with my people?
Yeah.
We were already told by Collapsing Star when he was here last that there were Heliopolis refugees. At that time, we didn't have a specific count, nor did he have any idea of what was causing that, other than a war or something that was happening within Heliopolis. Do you know anything more about that, Shone? I know you haven't been there, but any information we have is valuable.
Um, I need to find a way to contact Sobek.
Who's that?
He is an ally. He was friends with my mother.
Lightbringer
He's
was
the one that got me on this side of the portal.
Oh, so he's in this dimension somewhere.
No, he is in Heliopolis.
Oh,
Let's see.
So, Jerome, how much would she know about? Would she have known that they were on the brink of war, or?
Well, you were already aware of the war that that originally happened, the one that Electrum fought in. So it's with it being so vague, it's hard to say if it was that one or if it's a new one.
So, in regards to the war, there was one that our father was involved in, which how I came to be. But if it's after that, I need to contact Sebek.
Would you have to actually go there in order to contact him?
It is not impossible, but it is hard for me to get back through because I have no way of accessing the portal from this side. I also have a contact in Cairo. Um, he's an Egyptologist and very knowledgeable of my race as far as the human aspect of it. But I haven't really had a chance to really probe just how much he knows. I mean, I could get in contact with him. I mean, we could go visit him, I suppose.
So it sounds like we have at least some options there if we want to pursue heading to Heliopolis to get information. But even if we go there, it seems that there are many Heliopolitan refugees, and this Abrax Khaldun might already be out there in outer space.
He,
Then my people.
Collapsing Star said that there were similarities, but he doesn't look quite the same. I showed him an image of what my friend showed me.
Do you have a picture of him, Brittany?
Yeah, so I would show it. Oh, I don't have a graphic.
Actual photo.
Jerome gave you graphic. Okay.
But yeah, I would no. But yeah, I'm like showing you guys what he looks like.
Right.
But I got the feeling that he hasn't reached that point yet. So
then I have to warn them.
I don't know if he destroys anything else. I just know that he came here and he was actually he was strong enough to kill my grandfather, who had been seriously weakened after fighting Tyrax. But still, let me continue. We went back to looking at the virus, and my friend suggested that the Tabaxians might know where we could get a sample or have more information on it. And so we discussed it for a while and ultimately decided to go ahead and make first contact. We had New Prussia teleport us onto their ship, and using the translator that I just gave the general or colonel, I was able to impress on them the importance of our visit, and my friend was disguised as an honor guard. We decided it would be really strange if they saw two of me.
Of course.
So, and honestly, it just made it look like I was more important to have a guard with me. But we essentially asked, or we brought it to their notice that we knew they were here and that they were breaking all sorts of rules by being here, and got them to listen to us. And I asked them to stop their fight against the Yubari on our planet so that we could maybe focus on something more important, like the return of Tyrax, who is the reason that they're fighting the Yubari in the first place. And the captain said he couldn't make that decision, and so he hailed their leaders, and to everyone's surprise, the emperor, they call him Elder Undara. He invited us to visit his homeworld and discuss it in person. And that's when I sent you the message that I would be gone for a few days. It was very unexpected and very sudden, and I wanted to just not blow this, and so I just made the executive decision to do it. So yeah, they really love Electrum, and so I will make an illusion that looks like
Of your memory.
Of my memory of arriving there.
Okay.
Do you want to describe it, Jerome? Since my throat is starting to get dry.
You went to
Then
Theonis.
yes, I will. So the sky itself is kind of like an amber dusk color, at its very brightest. So it looks almost like you would be in parts of Alaska, where it gets light enough to see around, but it's never like bright blue skies or anything of that nature. It's it's got that kind of like an amber, like I said, like it's a high dusk. Sun is setting always, which gives the planet kind of an interesting, a little bit of a tinge and glow to it. It is the capital city where she was at, because this is the visual she's giving to you. Hold on a second. Here we go.
Their ship must have been extremely fast.
It looks
It
like
only
that.
took us 14 hours to get there. They apparently have these special travel lanes that the Tabaxians use only, and they're not part of the Galactic Union, and so a lot of the things that we were doing fall outside of Union law. But
So
it was really
the planet,
fascinating.
The planet looks like that, and you end up seeing a statue of Electrum. Y'all know what Electrum looks like. Kind of clasping a sword in front of him, and his eyes actually light up with like a blue fire. The statue itself stands something like 30 stories high.
Wow.
Nice. Okay.
And it's kind of like it's the centerpiece of a really large plaza that is downtown. So there's like a lot of shopping and homes. It's very where she was at was very metropolitan.
Gotcha.
So during this meeting, we talked about Tyrax and about the Yubari, and essentially what I told you is that they would like to prevent this bioweapon from being made. And after learning about the plague, it makes me even more worried about a bioweapon. So it is important for us to figure that out. And however this alliance turns up, but they are definitely on board with allying with Electrum's children as protectors of Earth, especially after the way that their empire was decimated by Tyrax the first time. They see it as honor bound to prevent Electrum's homeworld to go through that like they did. And at this point I will pull out the collection of hair that I collected as gifts from all of the people that like pledged fealty to us, I guess. And I'm not entirely sure what this means. I guess it's like their honor is tied with ours or something like that. I don't know. Like the emperor just like cut off his hair and handed it to me, and all of his people just started yelling and cheering, and it was
The
I mean not all of
emperor,
his hair, just like
the emperor cut off his hair and gave it to you.
I mean only like this much, but still.
No,
Yeah.
that is one thing. I am not well versed on all of the customs of the Tavaxians, but their hair is a very, very coveted aspect of their persona. And those with the longest hair speak of their station, their longevity, and it is a great dishonor to have short hair or to be shaven. That is one of the largest offenses, even greater than death to a Tavaxian.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked by this ceremony. So I guess that means it's really serious.
It sounds as if the Tavaxians are effectively all in on helping us to go against Tyrax.
Provided that we can come together on this alliance. So that's catching you up, but in essence, what my friend seemed very impressed on was that they had waited too long to go to Senya, and that in order to beat Tyrax, we're going to need Travixium. In what form, I don't really know. But she seems to think that they waited too long to do that, and they didn't have the power necessary to take care of him without so many casualties.
So it would seem then, according to your counterpart, that Senya is a keystone. We need to go there.
Yeah.
Per your information in your discussion with your counterpart, do you believe it would be wise to go there first or try to find the Ubari?
Well, have you has Helios had any progress on finding them while I was gone?
Has it been the okay, so like
He's still actively searching.
Okay.
It's close. It's close though.
It's close, okay. So he is very close to finishing his scan. We're unsure if he's able to locate them, but if he can, then we would at least have that under our belt.
I suppose it depends on the scope of that mission. Definitely, we need to start preparing to go to Senya. I'm not sure what our action items there are besides finding Dr. Rostenkowski and figuring out what she's doing there and trying to help the deviant population. I don't have anything more concrete than that. But maybe that's something that we'll find answers for when we get on the ground. I don't know.
I mean, if the Tavaxians have promised that they'll help us fight against Tyrax, and Tyrax is in Senya, then the first thing we need to do is make sure that this deal goes through between that, but like them pledging themselves, but that means we're going to have to deal with the Ubari first. That seems like that would be because that'll be contingent on them helping us deal with Tyrax and Senia, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Then you hear a chime on the center console in the ship. You're
Go over
being
to see
hailed.
what's going on. Oh. All right. Accept the hail. Who
Okay.
is it?
So it comes up. It's a red Tavaxian face. And in very, very, very broken English, he says, "Light bringer."
Which one is it?
I actually try something.
It's the second in command.
Dude,
Okay.
I speak to him in Salanthi.
Hmm?
Do you understand me? Can you translate this easier than English?
So
Because it would be something that would be more established.
right,
You'd have a
yeah.
lot more history to it.
So he kind of looks as all of a sudden Ixion starts, sounding like Dora or Dory from
The Explorer.
yeah Dory from Finding Nemo all of a sudden.
Right.
And so he's like and it doesn't obviously sound quite right. One, because of his body
Yeah.
right now, but also because he's not underwater.
Right.
And so he just starts shaking his head, and he's like looking around, and he just reaffirms and says, "Light bringer."
Greetings.
And so he sees her, and then he clasps his hand across his chest again, and he says, "Huati Castile."
Yes, we can ask them to bring you White Castle.
So he
Huh.
looks. So he looks confused. Obviously, they don't have a capability of translating English, and so he points to you.
You want me to bring some White Castle?
Do we have that second translator yet?
Oh, this is a proposal.
I want to bring you to my White Castle.
He has the Fabio hair for it.
Oh
He
my
wants
goodness.
White Castle, but you can't communicate with him. So
I will just nod.
Okay, so
Does
he
he
And
know that
so
that's
he
not
nods,
gonna go
clasps
right
his
through them?
clasps his arm against his chest, and the transmission ends.
No.
Okay. Do we have
What
a
did
way
you
to
just
contact
promise
the
him?
general? And they have apparently tried some Earth cuisine, and they're really into White Castle. I don't get it.
Horrible.
are we sure we want to ally with them?
Also, mellow yellow.
Clearly, their taste buds are extraterrestrial. But
This is an interesting thing. By the way, according to their creation story, they believe that they were created by the Dexamites. And that's perhaps why they can eat our food.
Whose food?
Human food.
Earth,
Human food?
human
Okay.
food.
Wait, so is White Castle Dexamite food?
That's
In a
why it goes right through you.
Is
In
that
a
why?
roundabout way, yeah.
Is that why we haven't found our papas? Because he's the CEO and chairman of White Castle.
Oh, he's been there all along. Oh my god.
He's just let it all
It's
go.
a wonder.
It was Electrum all along.
He's
So
the
the-
Dave Thomas of White Castle.
So then you
Oh my
hear a
gosh.
knock on the vessel. Pong 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 pong.
Oh,
Oh, God.
do we answer the door?
Hyperion will generate a photonic
Housekeeping.
copy outside to see who it is.
Okay, so
My
when
voice is too hoarse.
so you fade, out, and then outside, and they're kind of stand a little shocked. You see that they have wheeled over a cart that has like 30 of the little White Castle things on there.
Oh, they're bringing us White Castle. That's adorable.
Wait, they're still here? I thought they had left.
They apparently came back.
No, the
Is-
vessel is still parked here.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so he's not one of the ones that that went off.
No.
Oh,
this is
he's
the
the one
second
that
in
he
command.
was on the ship.
Yeah.
Where
Oh,
did they
right,
get
right.
White Castle from? Is there a White
Yeah,
Castle?
they the cooks on their ship have managed to approximate it.
Ah, they want us to taste test it. Understood.
So then, yeah, the actual Hyperion says, "By all means, open it. It seems they're gifting us with this food."
Gift.
Okay.
Let's go ahead.
So
Yeah.
See,
so
they're trying to get rid
so
of
at
us.
this point, you've met this guy obviously already. It's the chef.
Yeah.
And so,
So,
he comes walking and he's pushing, the cart. The cart doesn't have wheels. It's a little hover cart, sort of thing. And
Nice.
brings it up. It's still steaming and everything.
Does he have like the little like thing over the top of it that he like pulls open to unveil the White Castle sliders?
No, there's a top to it, but it's not like fancy or anything. This is all like military grade. So it's just he kind of pulls a piece of metal back, revealing the tray underneath where all 30 sliders have been heated. And so he because he knows Lightbringer obviously, and he's recognized. So he points at her, points at this, and then does this.
as we're kind of gathered, I'm going to point to each member of the team and say their name so that basically he can be introduced
Okay.
to them.
So
and,
he bows and to everyone there.
And I will take the slider and I will bite into it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a White Castle slider.
So make an endurance check.
specifically.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, please make an endurance check.
So my question is, Brittany has not ever had White Castle,
You're nasty.
but
Yeah.
Oh no,
I
they're
have
not.
heard I have heard all the memes.
Yeah.
Did they used to be better?
No.
There's nothing special about it. It's just it's food for
Mystery meat.
drunk and high people in the middle of the night. It's like Waffle House but with burgers.
And you don't know what the meat really is.
Like,
So-
I
But
got
if you're stuck, it will clean you out.
So
awesome.
that has never actually happened to me, and I get them all the time.
Yeah.
And the White Castle here even to this date, the White Castle that started out here in Scottsdale still has lines around the corner.
Uh-oh. Is
Yeah.
Pulsar going to die because
In and out is
George
always
talks?
busy.
Is Pulsar going to die because George talks smack about
Probably. No.
White Castle?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll work on.
I'll be dying with you because I
I'll work,
can't have one.
I'll work on my next character. Let's see.
I want to try White Castle now.
Mm-mm.
Well, just
Okay, so-
one.
Did they sponsor
I'll
this?
make
this game?
motions
No.
for everybody to
Okay.
to like try one.
Okay, Red Arsenal will try one.
Okay.
I will open up
Everyone
the
who eats food.
And my character suddenly dies.
mouth. I will eat one and then I'll look at the camera and go,
He can now break the fourth wall.
Breaking the fourth wall somehow.
yeah.
Show,
In order
He
to
knows
not
what
get
I'm-
killed.
He knows what I'm getting at. That's why he wore the brown pants.
Shone looks at the camera.
And he goes,
I'm just not confident I could roll another character with as good a stats as Pulsar, so I'm going to try to like.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
look,
Yeah.
you guys,
So-
you have the blood of Electrum. Surely you'll live through this.
But yes, they're bite-sized little burgers. There's literally nothing wrong with them, but some people don't want that taste. It's no different than people hating on In-N-Out as opposed to Carl's Jr., as opposed to McDonald's or any other burger joint or whatnot. It's same difference.
But these are delicious and they come very affordably priced.
Yeah, but with these, this is just something that they happen to have.
This is an interstellar
No, they've absconded with it.
gesture. Oh, okay. Interesting.
No,
It's
I don't know if you caught that, but in your conversations with them, they told you that they've managed to go down and actually taste and take
right,
away some human cuisine.
right.
They had
But
to rely on
these
that because
particular
they've been in
ones,
orbit for so long.
but these particular ones were homemade.
Nope.
Oh, they weren't.
No, they're the real thing.
So they broke into White Castle to steal their burgers?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
It wasn't specifically.
Okay, Sean likes them already.
It wasn't specifically clarified, but in two instances in that conversation, Brittany, the first one, because again, it wasn't clearly stated, but they've been in orbit a long time.
Right.
Several
years.
Yeah, ships only carry so much food. They have not been out. They've been in orbit the whole time, so they've had to start raiding Earth to take food back up to the ship to maintain orbit.
I did wonder how they were able to come onto the planet and why they didn't just do everything they wanted to do.
It was
if they were
against orders.
already there.
Yeah, it was against orders.
They couldn't go to Kuala Detour?
Yep. Or a burrito alarm.
Okay, well, in any case, it's a gesture of goodwill.
Exactly.
Stolen White Castle. Pilfered.
How many people are aboard the ship, Jerome?
Aboard what ship?
The Tabaxian ship.
Oh, that particular ship probably cruised somewhere around like 150.
150
Okay, that's a little much to cater out of the blue.
Oh, it's almost 1,000 White Castle. Okay.
Right. There's a general manager who's being fired right now from all.
I mean, they would have to.
okay.
They would have to hit
Well.
like multiple stores. Like
Maybe we can contact the colonel and see if we can have the government feed these guys, give them some
as a token
legal,
of goodwill.
Exactly.
Yeah, legal rations,
some vegetables, and vitamins and nutrients, and
I mean, if they haven't discovered root beer,
there's a lot of vitamins and nutrients in root beer.
So
Obviously, they haven't
if
discovered
they're stuck
Dr.
on
Pepper either.
fair, but if they're stuck on mellow yellow, then yeah, we could open
must
their
educate
eyes to
them.
all kinds of things.
Do we think that the virus that came to your counterpart's Earth and destroyed everything, do we think it has anything to do with the bioweapon that the Obari are apparently making?
I don't know, but I did wonder that.
Okay, and the Abrax Khaldun, that is the person who I guess is claiming the responsibility for dropping the plague meteors on Earth.
No, actually, my counterpart believed that the meteors were a latent Tyrax attack. I'm not sure that, I don't know why she would think that, except just sequentially. But
if I can't have the planet, nobody can.
maybe I asked Collapsing Star to pay attention next time they come across something like that. And actually, the Tabaxians had heard of it too. They call it the unending death, I believe.
Understood.
be correct.
So
but
wait,
they had never heard of it happening to our people, so which is good. But
Was the
Maybe.
virus?
Yeah.
Did she mention if the virus afflicted um like empowered individuals?
Everything. Plant,
Everything.
human, animal, empowered.
do
Yeah.
people of Dexamite blood, are they spared from it because it's called Dexavirus, or are we especially affected?
That's just what I called it.
Oh, okay.
It seems to be a virus that affects. It seems to be a virus that um, evolves to survive in any species that it encounters. Um,
It sounds very
possibly,
similar. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
possibly, um, after having learned to adapt the way that Dexamite DNA adapts when it encounters other DNA.
Oh my
Exactly.
god.
So it's possible that the Dexamites were the first people to experience this virus, and then it mutated after that to affect other DNA.
Okay. I guess I was seeing a correlation between the planet gets destroyed by a space virus, uh, and then shortly thereafter, somebody who is I guess a worshiper of the Dexamites appears on the planet afterwards. Like if these things are not related, like is it's just a lot of dominoes falling down at once, but there's not necessarily a cause between them?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was
I,
it?
I
Did
do
she?
think it's interesting that the Dexamites seem to be at the center of a whole lot of things,
And how come I'm not
even though they're
around?
not around anymore.
And how come I'm
Well,
not in the future?
I don't know.
because you died from COVID 2219.
No,
Mm,
I could talk to plants. I saw that stuff coming. No,
No, 2319. 2319.
2319.
yeah.
She came
other
from a
questions?
frayed timeline, which would indicate that something changed within her timeline. But she was able to come back to this one, perhaps before most of the changes would have occurred. Therefore, whatever we do now could impact her timeline going forward.
I
We're
kind
now
of
in
think
uncharted territory.
she may have been hoping for that. I'm not
It
sure.
would probably affect many timelines.
But we definitely
All
don't
that
want to end
fracture
up
from ours.
the way that hers did.
Correct.
I mean, we can only really worry about our timeline, because if we're going to be worrying about stuff from people we've never met, our brains are going to explode. So,
Exactly.
Problem is that we have met them. They're us.
well, what I mean is, we can't be worried about the third timeline that splinters off from this one, because we already have too much to worry about just dealing with our stuff. Like, we should
Right.
probably just focus on the stuff that's on our plate now, which is White Castle, but then also getting. I should we be in these talks between the government and the Tavaxians? Like, that kind of sounds like,
Well, we certainly know a lot more about what's going on than the government does, I would assume.
yeah.
Unless
Well,
they're-
but
I mean, you never
If-
know what governments know, but
But if they're speaking directly to the Devaxians, a race from a different world that will likely have more weight than if we were to tell them stories of what we heard, they're now getting it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. It's going to be more real for the American government.
maybe they'll actually pay attention when we tell them things.
well, it's also going to be, we want to make sure that we're in the room when they start inking deals that include us moving around. We don't want them to sign a deal and be like, okay, yeah, that sounds good, and then we become thralls of the government.
Yeah, that's not. I don't want that either.
Lightbringer, do you think they would make such a deal, the Tavaxians? With your experience with them? It seems that they wouldn't put us in that type of predicament because of our relationship to Electrum, and they hold him in
Right.
such high esteem.
I think they would hold us in an honorable position, so they wouldn't. I don't think they would speak for us. I also did talk about how Earth is not a united planet, and I talked a little bit about how the governments have different priorities and different goals and different resources, and they don't always share all of that. So I'm not sure how. I don't know how to get a planet's governments to agree on anything.
Just tell them
Um,
about the biovirus. That should be more than enough.
But we oh, the one that the Ubari are making.
And the one that's coming on the asteroids.
Yeah, but we have no proof of that though. Like, there's going to be
Which
people.
means,
And there's going to be
Since-
governments who want to get a hold of the Ubari so they could use that technology against us bigger fish.
so we need to do both. We need to find the Ubari and stop them, if at all possible, to stop their bioweapon. And we need to go to Senia to determine what we can do there. Finding Dr. Rostenkowski, perhaps saving others who are there, determining what we can. And we need to do both of these as quickly as we can.
why don't we rope in some of the Senia experts that we know, like Mr. McLaren or Wraith, and see if we can get an idea of what is happening, just so that we're not blindsided when we actually get there.
I agree.
And then while we're preparing, if Helios happens to finish his calculations and we have enough idea on how many Ubari there are and where they are, and that would help us kind of prioritize once we know the scope better.
Excellent. Let's make our way back to the vein and see if Helios can locate the Ubari, and if so, we can continue from there, going after them first to stop the bioweapon. Perhaps looping in the United States government to make sure that they're aware of what we're doing. Perhaps they'd even provide assistance.
And that is where we're going to stop for the evening. Almost 3.5 hours worth of gameplay there. Good job, guys.
Wow.
Dun dun dun.
So I made more messes for you.
Thanks. Every time
Not
you go off on
true.
your own.
Not true.
I'm sorry.
If anything,
Just
I
cleaned
gotta-
up her last mess.
if
I know,
anything,
right?
you connected a lot of dots.
No, right, exactly.
My mom's calling. I got a jet.
So,
right.
so our next game obviously will be this coming week. It'll be Cyberpunk and Street Fighter, both at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then the our next game after that will be the weekend of the 13th and 14th of September. That will be more Mythic Savannah, and then this game again at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 14th. So thank you guys all for tuning in and hanging out with us, and we will catch you again next time. Good night, guys.
Good night.